First call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stones for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Dean, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
England lost 5 for 10 in 18 balls to throw away a winning position in Nelson. So New Zealand go to Napier with leading the series 2-1. They can seal the series with a victory, but Owen Morgan has shuffled the pack again with a couple of experienced players coming back into the team, and New Zealand making a couple of changes themselves. Can England square the series and take us to a decider at Eden Park? Hello, wherever you are in the world, whatever time zone you're listening to us in. You're listening to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England's tour of New Zealand, as I say, the 4th T20 International from Napier. I'm Knuckle Mpande, taking through ball by ball for the first little portion of today's play. I can bring you toss and team news as well. New Zealand have won the toss and elected to bowl, so we'll see England bat first for the first time in the series. A couple of changes for both teams. Trent Boult, as scheduled, comes back, replacing Lockie Ferguson. Ferguson off playing first-class cricket and doing very well by all accounts, taking a forfeit. Trent Boult playing his first T20 International since January 2018. Daryl Mitchell returns in the middle order because Jimmy Neesham is ill. So New Zealand going with Martin Guptill and Colin Munro at the top of the order. Keeper Tim Seifert, Colin de Grandom, Ross Taylor, Daryl Mitchell, Mitchell Santner, Captain Tim Southey, Ish Sodhi, Trent Boult and Blair Tickner. Johnny Bairstow comes back at the top of the order for England and is back to some extent in the Test squad because he's in as cover for Joe Denley. So with thoughts of Test cricket maybe slightly closer to Johnny Bairstow's mind than he thought, can he harness the power of righteous anger and get himself a score? He'll open with Tom Banton, we understand. Darwin Milan at 3. Captain Owen Morgan, keeper Sam Billings, whose run out really sparked the collapse in Nelson. Sam Curran, Lewis Gregory, Chris Jordan comes back in for Saqib Mahmood, Tom Curran, Matt Parkinson and Pat Brown. I'm joined to my right by Nigel the Bear Walker.
Good morning, people.
Playing your jingles and reading your tweets and your other social media messages, Jason G. Hiscox.
Hello, everyone.
What do England need to do better than they've done in the series in order to level this series up?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. It's short form cricket. We were saying it the other night. I think we were very disappointed when it happened, but it can happen. The problem is that the pressure mounts very quickly in the T20. You got to keep hitting, and people keep getting out. You need not to do that. I think. Vince maybe unfairly got a bit of blame the other day. I mean, he got 49 or whatever it was. It was a pretty shit shot to get out.
It was the start of the collapse.
It was the start of the collapse.
I mean, they were kind of cruising at that point.
They were, but
they were ahead of the rate. They were looking comfortable, and then he went, and the whole game changed.
Yeah, England needed 42 off 32. So you say they needed to keep hitting. I mean, not really, not with that.
Well, I
rate.
suppose.
No, exactly.
Maybe. Billings getting run out was a bit of a disaster as well, and I think that put the cat amongst the pigeons.
It was a good throw. He did overcome it very slightly.
Yeah.
But it was a good throw to hit with one stump to aim at, really.
Yeah, Colin Munro running in and picking up one-handed and throwing down the stumps. But England have gone with a little bit more experience. Chris Jordan comes back in, and Chris Jordan is very obviously the leader of the seam attack in T20 cricket. That's the first T20 he's missed since the last World Cup, and should be able to give a little bit more nous to the bowling attack. And at the top of the order, Milan shuffled down to 3. Bairstow and Banton, and is a pretty exciting opening partnership.
It is, but you hit the nail on the head. I think experience is the key, and they've added experience by bringing in the players that they brought in. I think what happened on Tuesday in particular was, when the pressure came on, they didn't have the experience and the knowledge and the reserve of games that they've played under their belt to know that they didn't have to accelerate that hard or to panic.
Yeah, possibly true. Possibly. And when it came to the bowling as well, I mean, I think Mahmood has been a bit disappointing throughout. It was a bit weird that Parkinson didn't get any more overs. He seemed to bowl pretty well.
Nice flight.
Nice flight. Got it up there. Wasn't afraid to give
Good
it some
length.
flight. Good length. I mean, he got hit for 1-6 over extra cover by de Grandon, but other
that
than
can happen to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, he was pretty tight.
Yeah, so he was talking about he was disappointed not to get those 2 overs. Apparently, it was because there was 2 left-handers and the wind had changed.
That's what I read.
The short side of the boundary. The short boundary. Interesting sized boundaries here at McLean Park in Napier. Short, square, quite long, straight. So England will have to be aware of that and be aware of a little bit not dissimilar, I guess, to the cake tin where the straight hits were not that easy.
No.
And you saw a lot caught at long on and long off. Colin de Grandon kept taking catches. Well, the England players are out there. It is going to be the returning left armour to open up proceedings for New Zealand for his first T20 in quite some time.
Well, a man with a great jingle.
How does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout? How does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
It is Trent Bolt. He'll be bowling from the Centennial stand, and to the man who might see himself in Test colours a little bit sooner than he thought.
Johnny Best is smarter than the average man.
Bolt in left arm over the wicket to Johnny Bairstow. Swing, but started too leg sidey, and Bairstow in fact it's Tom Banton opening up. Apologies. He just nudges this off his toes, and England are off the mark with 4.
The sixes, although it's so dark, he'd even run a town. Bradford Park Avenue, no other Yorkshireman can compare. I tell you, Johnny Best is smarter than the average man.
That would have been a wide, but he just got an inside edge on it, didn't he?
Yes, number.
Yeah, I can see that.
Apologies for the misidentification. It is Tom Banton. Drives this nicely into the onside, but closes the face a little bit too early, and it's fielded by Ross Taylor at mid-wicket. A little bit of early swing for Trent Bolt, as ever.
Yeah, he started off quite well the other day, Banton, actually. I was
And he
quite
got
impressed.
to 18, 19,
Bit of
and
a
then
shit shot to get out, though.
yeah, just when it was potentially going to go even bigger than he'd already gone.
Yeah, Tom Banton, 18 off 10. Obviously, with these guys, with Banton and Mahmood, come back to that after this delivery, which is on off stump and length delivery. Banton plays this firmly up to Colin de Grandon at mid-on. There is no, and obviously with these guys, you can't judge people on 2 T20 internationals.
Nope.
And
I can judge you on what I saw in the 50 over final, though, which he was excellent and took Fidel out of the attack.
Tom Banton.
Yes.
Yeah, Banton's been superb for Somerset in the blast over the last couple of years, and that's what's got him into the position he's in. Bolt in. 4th ball of the first over of this T20. Again, a little bit too leg-sidey, but Banton misses out on what might have been another 4 clips to Taylor at mid-wicket. There is no run.
We've had some early joiners. Harry Trapp has said, sat in the London bar in Hamilton waiting for the T20 game to start. It shows a picture of a very big TV screen on the wall.
Very good. Hamilton, the venue for the second Test match that England will be playing.
And Joe Grover's joined us and says, my word, it's a dream team this morning. Thank you for keeping me awake so I can get the kayak out and head to the post office and send my mate her birthday present.
Oh dear.
Talking about the...
rain in them, Yorkshire. Short delivery, which Banton tries to stand up pull over the leg side. Misses, actually plays slightly over the top of this one. And through to the keeper, Tim Seifert, it goes. There is no run. We're led to believe that this pitch is an absolute belter.
And we are indeed, that's what they keep telling us. It's going to be runs galore, and it's very short square, long, straight, and it's a bit of a rugby pitch as well. Doesn't look as windy here as it has done at the last couple of grounds.
In comes Bolt, last ball of the over, back of a length, and Banton nudges this a little bit square of the man at mid-wicket. The man from long on comes screaming in off the boundary to keep them to a single, so Bairstow will not be as yet on strike. Banton on 5, England 5 for no loss after the first over.
Didn't they also say that this is one of the first times this drop-in's been used at this ground?
It is, yeah, that's right.
So they don't really have any knowledge of how it's going to play, but they expect it to play very well.
That's right, yeah, they used to have a natural wicket block, but since it's become even more of a rugby ground than it already was, it's been redeveloped. You can see if you're watching the TV coverage, it stands on 3 sides, the grass bank at the other. Since then they've put in an artificial wicket block. The last time there was a game here was against India earlier this year, and the match got halted due to sunstrike. So things to watch for, perhaps. It is a very, very experienced opening pair that New Zealand have gone for. The captain bringing himself on from the embankment end. I'm sorry.
It's only a whimsical notion to fly with Tim Southey to fight. I probably won't.
In comes Southey, picked up beautifully by Tom Banton. Leg stump half volley clipped into the leg side. Didn't quite get all of that, and Mitchell Santner can come round from deep square leg and keep them to 2. Banton on 7 off 7. Bairstow yet to face. Field will try and bring you the field when I can. We got 3 men up in the circle on the leg side. Short fine leg, mid wicket and mid on. The offside is quite heavily packed. Short third man, deep point, extra cover, sort of catching regular extra cover and mid off. This is tight to off stump. Southey bowling to his field, and Banton just watching for any swing, a little hint of away swing, and he blocks up to mid off. There is no run. So yeah, this is, most cricket grounds have the pitch arranged north to south. This one has it east to west, and the sun was shining right in the batter's eyes, and so they had to pause the game against India for a little while.
Oh, right, yeah, that was like... I was going to say that I guess it's so short on the corners, that shadow.
Southey's in, full delivery, driven by Banton, and Southey gets half a hand on it, probably stops 3, because that was hit quite firmly by Tom Banton. They come through for a single. Johnny Bairstow will now be on strike.
And that shadow of that light pylon must be actually quite annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, the shadow of the light pylon comes almost across the pitch, and
it does come across the pitch, right across the bloody wicket in the middle.
Yeah,
that's at the start of the game. What's going to be like? 2 hours in.
Yeah, well, probably why they don't play day games here is they want the light to not be a factor for the entire game. Bairstow facing up to his first ball over the match. 2 straight from Tim Southey, and it's clipped off the toes by Johnny Bairstow. Mitchell Santner, the one man out on the leg side boundary, comes around to field. You can see Tim Seifert shielding his eyes with his hands as the ball comes back in from Santner. 2 runs from Johnny Bairstow. Understandable to want to go straight at Bairstow early, with his known propensity for playing across the line of the ball, but a little bit too much on that occasion from Tim Southey.
Well, if he gets himself in, he should be quite entertaining, but it was poor the other night.
Chris Waller's joined us.
Southey's in back of a length, and he gets caught up in Bairstow's pad, and he has no idea where that has gone. Tim Southey was very aware of where the ball had gone. Bairstow was looking for a single, but had no idea where the ball was. Gets sent back by Banton, had to dive full length back into his crease as Southey flicked underarm to break the bail, to break the stumps. I don't think anyone's that interested in this being a run out, but it could be close.
Yeah, I think it was quite close.
No, I think
Question whether he got his bat down, I thought.
the guy at points seemed to suggest that
There's a bit of a tangle between Southey and Bairstow, and this is going to be tight. This is going to be
he's
very...
knocked his hand. Well, he's knocked his bat with his hand, hasn't he?
he's in,
down.
he's in. Good dive from Johnny Bairstow. Yeah, he and Southey were diving for the stumps at the same end and got into a bit of a tangle, which meant that Bairstow wasn't home by quite as much as he might have liked. All a bit confusing, really, for Johnny Bairstow. I think the ball off the inside edge got caught in the pad flap, and then he rolled in front of him.
Well, I think Banton started to call him, actually, because he didn't know where it was.
well, he did seem to commit himself a long way down the pitch.
Well, I thought Banton called him, and he kind of went, and then...
I thought it was the other. I thought Bairstow took a few steps down the track,
Yes,
and then Banton...
I'm with Knuckle on this. I think Bairstow went for a wander.
Banton sent him back just in time. The end result is that it's a dot ball. The extra cover has now gone out, gone back to backward points. There's two men saving one behind square on the offside. A good Yorker from Tim Southey. Bairstow dig this out, and they do come through for a single this time. Banton and Bairstow showing a decent understanding on that occasion. The first time, of course, they've opened together in T20 international cricket, or indeed in any form of cricket. They come through for a single. Bairstow's on 3, Banton on 8. England after 2, 11 for no loss.
Robin
Looked
has
like a
joined
no
us, and he says, "Oh, for God's sake, I've made a mistake of listening to the official commentary on the tape here. NASA claiming that Bairstow, the non-striker, had glanced to fall off the leg stump. I've muted it now. We made that mistake as well."
Yeah, we weren't the only one, because they did show a close-up of Johnny Bairstow on the camera, and then it was Tom Banton opening, so easily done.
And Spicy Golden Duck says, "Good morning, all."
Good
Morning, morning.
It's bloody early here. I didn't really sleep very well last night. I kind of went to bed. And
I didn't really sleep at all, so I'm
I did
going
sleep
to
for a
die
couple of
later on
hours.
today.
A few hours in, 5 or so, I think. It's
I
not
didn't
too
even get
bad.
that. I ended up watching bloody Question Time.
Ugh,
Oh,
never.
that's a mistake.
That's always a
Yeah,
mistake.
Shouting at the telly vociferously.
4 men up on the offside, 3 on the on for Johnny Bairstow. Sort of catching extra cover in places. The only real man close to the bat as Trent Bolt comes in. A short delivery which Bairstow tries to wipe through the leg side. This one didn't quite come onto the bat, and he sort of pulls out of the shot, really, and it dribbles to mid-wicket. There is no run, and though we are assured that this will be a belter, a couple from Trent Bolt just haven't quite come onto the bat.
No, it doesn't. Maybe it won't be a belter, and a 160 will be enough.
In comes Bolt, left arm over the wicket. Again, Johnny
fucking
Bairstow trying to pull off the front foot, and again the ball was not quite there for that pickup shot, and probably going across him as well. Bairstow had a lot to do and ends up just choking it up to mid-on. There is no run.
Why did he hit it through the covers
Yeah,
instead of trying
exactly.
to
It's
pull it?
wide enough out there. Just
I know he's worried about the ball that's arcing back in and gating himself, but the way he's playing the shot, he's going to get an inside edge and clatter it onto the stumps.
In comes Bolt. Bairstow comes down the track and drives beautifully through extra cover, but a great stop from Tim Southey diving to his left at mid-on. Save what looked like a certain fall, because Bairstow hit that really hard coming down the track to Trent Bolt and pinging it into the offside, almost to kind of prove your point, Jason. It was very nicely timed indeed by Johnny Bairstow, and well done by Tim Southey to save a boundary.
Yeah, good bit of fielding.
3 dot balls off the first 3 balls of the over. Johnny Bairstow has started slowly in a couple of games in this series, unusually so for him. He's 3 off 6. In comes Trent Bolt, left arm over the wicket up to the crease and bowls, and Bairstow picks this up over mid-on. It's a longish straight hit, but with mid-on up in the circle, that was a very safe shot. 4 runs.
It's me, Sanshi. It's me, Sanshi.
Again, not brilliantly timed again, slightly off the inside part of the bat from Johnny Bairstow, but he knew that all he had to do was get it up and over the man, and that's exactly what he did.
SP Cooper says, "Here we go again. Glad to have the commentary this evening as Bairstow and Jordan return to get England back in their winning ways. Or so one hopes."
So one hopes.
Yeah, it's a pretty experienced team, or the most experienced team that England could have from the 15 that they've picked. In comes Bolt, skewed off the outside part of the bat from Bairstow as he tries to go up over mid-on again. The leading edge just clears the offside ring. Mitchell Santner running back from the edge of the circle, picks up and throws in one motion. They come through for a rather lucky single. Johnny Bairstow moves with a great deal of luck to 8 off 8. That was a bit of a cutter, I think, from Trent Bolt, and slightly held up in the wicket perhaps, and Bairstow completely lost his shape on that and was lucky that he got a thick outside part of the bat. Banton facing up to the last ball of Trent Bolt, second over, the third of the innings. An attempted leg side hoik, a ludicrous LBW appeal. Oh my God, it's been given. That looked like it pitched a long way outside leg.
Is he going to walk for that?
Banton looked to walk, and he's saying to Johnny Bairstow, it hit me on the thigh.
It's pitched a mile outside
I'm pretty
leg.
sure that pitched outside leg. I'd be very surprised if Bairstow doesn't tell him to review this. No, they don't appear to. Oh, yes, they are. At the last possible second, Banton has reviewed it. Yeah, my initial impression was that pitched a long way outside leg stump.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's quite as short as you thought, but I do agree. I think it pitched that outside leg.
The umpire gave it after a little bit of time considering his options. Nowhere near a no ball from Trent Bolt. Well short
as usual
of the line. Far too experienced for any of that nonsense. The camera angle we're looking at is unhelpfully from mid-off, so we can't actually see where the ball is pitched. So that's not a lot of help. He's not hit it. It's hit him on the back thigh. It's probably fine for height. As I say, the ball hasn't quite really got up from any delivery that Trent Bolt has bowled thus far.
Is there a little bit something?
I wonder. There's a little bit of a flicker on hot spot as the ball goes past the edge, but then you can't really see it when the bat pivots around, so maybe
Isn't
not.
that the heat image of the ball on the ground?
Hard to tell. Yeah, it's pitched quite a long way outside leg stump. Seemed an over-optimistic appeal, seemed a poor decision, and I'm not quite sure why Bairstow and Banton took quite so long to review as they did. But review they did, and Banton remains not out.
Yeah, that's pretty. I don't know if they've got their their effects sorted out there, but yeah, it did pitch miles out. Well, not miles outside.
It's a
appreciably, it looked like it when the initial decision.
And the umpire has to adjust change his mind, frankly. And a good over from Trent Bolt, though. I think only the 2 runs off it. No, five runs off it, sorry, because Bairstow picked up a 4. So after the first over, England are 16 for no loss. So we're going to go to spin very early in the power play. This guy's been thoroughly impressive through the T20 International Series, shown great cricketing intelligence and changes the pace, changes the flight, developing into a very fine cricketer.
Who's this man?
Centenor baby, get some drift into the pads for me. Been an awful good Kiwi. Centenor baby, and dart them in quickly tonight.
Longish straight hits. Let's see if Mitchell Santner can tempt Johnny Bairstow into something injudicious. There's a man back at long off, and I think a man back at deep square leg as well. Santner's coming round the wicket to Johnny Bairstow. That's short, and that's pulled straight down the throat of deep mid-wicket. It is not a particularly big hit, but Bairstow didn't get any of that. And very simple catch for Daryl Mitchell. Mitchell and Mitchell combining. Mitchell Santner has a wicket. First ball, Johnny Bairstow gone for 8.
I won't look back, just by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Wow, Johnny B doesn't look in the greatest of headspace, does he really?
No, well, he wasn't meant to be on this. He certainly wasn't meant to be on the test pass of this tour.
No.
And no, he was asked to go back to domestic game and get his acting gear.
Not that they had a lot of time to do that. Yeah, he just didn't really try, didn't really hit it. He just lofted it straight down the throat of deep mid-wicket. You see Johnny Bairstow playing those leg side shots, and he really gives it everything, but he really didn't on that occasion. It's not a particularly big hit, and it was catching practice, frankly.
It kind of gives you the idea that there's a little bit more in this pitch in terms of stopping than we expected.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look an absolute belter, does it? It's not really coming onto the bat, sticking in a bit.
That for length was a ball that should have been 20 yards over his head.
Yeah, it was really a nothing delivery from Mitchell Santner. It was short. You can see exactly what Johnny Bairstow was trying to do, but he just didn't hit it.
No, it didn't come off the wicket very well as well. You can almost see it slow up as it came out of pitch.
That brings the man who's been opening for England, has done reasonably well in this series, the new Yorkshireman, replacing an old Yorkshireman as Mitchell Santner comes around the wicket to the left-hander. This one goes on with the arm and skews off the outside part of the bat to short third man. There is no run off the bat of England's number 3.
Evil Scooters has joined us. Says, morning folks, it's late Friday afternoon. I'm free for the rest of the year, but I'm disappointingly stone sober.
Well, I'm sober today.
Next generation David.
And will remain so.
Milan prods at this, and off the inside part of the bat, it skews into the leg side column. The Grandom fields at short mid-wicket. There is no run. We've got 4 men up in the offside as that's a wide down the leg side. Tim Seifert skips across and it thumps into his chest. Signal wide by Chris Gaffney. First run conceded by Mitchell Santner. He's in now. No, he doesn't concede his first run on the off the bat because David Milan clips this straight to short mid-wicket. There is no run. Really good stuff again from Santner. Just the 1 run, and that 2 off a wide of the 4 legitimate deliveries he's bowled thus far. Around the wicket he comes to. David Milan goes a little bit wider on the crease, and again just a little clip straight to short mid-wicket from David Milan. No real even intention to try and miss the field. Milan sort of playing net shots, and England again not starting particularly fluently.
Nope.
As Santner's in, last ball of the over. This time Milan does get it square, plays through the legs of the square leg umpire, comes through for a single. But excellent start from Mitchell Santner. 2 runs only off his first over, and the wicket of Johnny Bairstow. So England after 4 overs, having been put into bat, are 18 for 1.
Senior Peel says, it's midnight over here, so I don't know how long I'll be with you, but I'll enjoy you as long as I can. And Jay Gower says, Bairstow's obviously traumatised by the plight of his deluged Yorkshire brethren. Have you seen the pictures from
I have not.
Sheffield?
I've not. No.
We've got, where I work, we have an office in Sheffield, and they got sent home at 4 o'clock today and told to phone in tomorrow to see if they can actually get into work.
Bad flooding.
Yeah, by flooding. He sent me a picture out the window, and it's like 3 feet deep outside the office already.
Jesus. Didn't they evacuated a shopping centre, didn't they, yesterday? Shut a shopping mall?
Meadowhall?
I don't know if it was Meadowhall.
And yet it's cold and clear in sunny later
South England.
Sydenham.
Change of bowling at the other end, at the Centennial stand end. Bolt just given the 2 overs, and the skipper's brought himself back on. Over the wicket to David Milan, and that's creamed out into the offside, timed very nicely. But Martin Guptill is an immovable object out there on the deep point boundary. Certainly an unbeatable one. He fields. They come through for a single. Jingle for the skipper.
So, we'll give me his other one.
What's up, Dad? What's cooking? What's up, Dad? Are you looking for Bugs Bunny bunting? Duck is gonna hunting.
Tim Southey.
What's up, Dad?
Slower ball, and timed very nicely by Tom Banton. He picked the slower ball, ended up as a bit of a gentle half volley, and punished to the extra cover boundary by Tom Banton for 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Beautifully timed. He's a very clean striker of the ball, Tom Banton, with that big backlift and those long levers. Yeah, it was a knuckle ball from Tim Southey, but picked very easily in with short extra cover up. No one back at the boundary. It was an easy put away. What will Southey come back with? Another slower ball, shorter and straighter, and just nudged by Banton out into the vacant leg side. There's a man back on the deep mid-wicket boundary. They'll come through for a single, bringing Milan back onto strike.
What are we doing in terms of?
We'll do 5 overs. I think if you come in here, we'll get Steve in.
Yep, fair enough.
Colin de Grandhomme on the mic, talking to the official commentators under the big, wide-brimmed floppy hat. As Southey's in another slower ball, but ends up as a leg stump half volley. Southey a little bit all over the place with his lines. Mitchell Santner has a long chase from mid-wicket that gets there in plenty of time. They come through for 2 David Milan on 4 off 7. So 8 runs off the first 4 balls of this over. England starting to get a little bit of momentum up.
Well, what's about it? It's 185. I don't think that's the score.
170 after that last delivery. 5 men in the offside ring. Short third man, backward point, cover point, extra cover, and mid off. Got a mid-wicket and a mid-on in place. 2 men back are on the leg side, and so it's a very comfortable hit to the offside boundary for David Milan as Southey bowls a wide full toss.
2 + 2 is on man.
Really poor from Tim Southey on that occasion. Going for the wide Yorker, I guess, but might have been a wide actually if Milan had left it, but a very comfortable full toss. And Milan just had to find the gap to get 4, and that's exactly what he did. So yeah, I'll do one more ball in this spell. Bear, I'll come over to ball by ball. We've got Jason onto the jingles and put Steve on to tweets. Last ball of what's been an expensive over for New Zealand. Sharply taken single by Milan into the leg side. Made it with some margin to spare. 13 runs off the over. Banton on 13, Milan on 9. England 31-1 after 5.
We'll have a little tune and we'll be back in a second.
Yep, you owe us all right. You think this alternative cricket commentary stuff comes cheap? Well, we need some dollar bills to help pay our bills, so please go to patreon.com/GorillaCricket and sign up to make a regular monthly donation. You know there is literally nothing like Gorilla Cricket's coverage, so don't be tight. Dip into your virtual pocket and throw some cash our way. See, Rihanna knows. Patreon.com/GorillaCricket.
Indeed, Pat, what you want to do. Yeah, it is a bit of a slow start. Pedestrian start, really, by England. Bairstow looked disjointed. And we have the floppy-haired, weird-looking Blair Tickner. And his first ball is clumped up to mid-off by Darren Milan. Completely mistimed it. He was trying to drive it square, but he didn't. Got up there, and it's just a single. The lights are on. The sky is very blue. There isn't much wind. There's palm trees at one end. It looks rather picturesque.
Doesn't it? Very picturesque, isn't it? He bowled pretty well on Tuesday, Blair Tickner.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He's deceptively quick. I mean, he's quite a tall guy. He looks like to have good action, a lot of height.
Yeah.
And when he gets it right, when his rhythm's right, it seems to come out, 86, 88 miles an hour.
Indeed. Banton is going to continue. He's 13 off 12, facing up. Tickner comes in, bowls onto his pads. Beats the man who is Sodi. He's up inside the circle, short on 45. And races away to the fine leg boundary for 4 runs.
You can thank me for that commentator's curse there.
Well, there you go.
It's me,
Yeah.
Sanshi. It's me, Sanshi.
And Banton is established himself here.
Especially after that review.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you can thank Bairstow's experience there.
Very much so, yeah.
He was quite clearly telling him it was pitching outside leg. Driven at by Banton, but can't beat Tickner on his follow through, and there will be no run.
Spicy Golden Duck, good morning. It feels very strange watching a T20 while sober. I wonder if I should Irish up my coffee.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Well, Tom Banton's got something to play for. He's got a T20 World Cup in less than a year.
Yep.
So, it's not inconceivable. He could be in that squad as a spare batsman, or maybe even the starter if he plays well enough.
He's not used to playing in matches with the review system, is he? So,
well, that's probably true, yeah. Down the leg
Good
side.
shot.
That is a good shot. Picks that up over the man. Again,
Beauty.
short on the 45. It's a bit too leg-sided by Tickner. Got it in the air. Gets his highest international T20 score. He's only got 2, but he's on 21 or 15.
He's got a long lever, so
Yeah,
if he ever gets hold of it, it tends to go an awful long way.
He was playing a long way around his pad there. It is a T20.
He's allowed to pick that up, actually. It was further outside leg stump than I thought.
Yeah, he had to chase that quite a bit.
His eyes in.
Yeah, well, he's 9 off this over so far. England catching up with a rate. That one, has he got enough on it? Looks like he has. He has indeed. He's picked that up. And it's gone back into the crowd. 6 runs. 14.46 this over.
I believe in miracles. Since you came to bat, you 60 thing. I believe in miracles. Since you came out to bat, you 60 thing.
He was a bit high on the bat. He didn't hit that particularly cleanly, did he?
It was very high.
It was. A lot of elevation, but he got enough distance. It's a pretty short square.
Thank God for
told
that.
endlessly, yeah.
We have a tweet from our fashion correspondent, so I'll read it out in a minute.
Okay, fashion correspondent. Lovely. Last ball of the over. And Tickner is in. It's guided square on the offside. Nice shot.
lovely
By
timing
Sexton man
there.
at point. And backward point. And they'll get back for 2 runs. Ends a good over for England then. They move on to 48 for 1 at the end of the power play, which isn't too bad actually. 8 and over after all of that faffing about.
I think they heard our comment about a slow start though, didn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, Jay Grover comments, I was trying to hope against hope. Steve might add some colour to the gorilla wardrobe. Did you all coordinate dull? Question mark.
Hey, shut up, Jay. You're having a
I think
cranky morning, or have you not been to bed yet? Look at that. They spelt November.
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
Someone should have caught that, surely.
Absolutely.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you?
I think we've gone for comfort rather than fashion today, given the weather outside.
So I was de-icing my car this morning
Wow,
to
it's
get
the
here.
first time I de-iced. This is it. I didn't have a de-icing scraper. I managed to find some fluid
So
in
you've
the
not
back
ruined
of the car.
not ruined a credit card then?
No. I managed to find some de-icing spray, and the front wasn't so bad. The back was solid. We're going to have a change of bowling straight out of power play. It's going to be this man, Leggy. And he's going to bowl to Milan. He's 10 off 10. And Sodhi comes in for his first ball. Tosses it up, leg side, clipped into the leg side. Milan heads off straight away. There isn't a mid wicket. I think about 2, but is that Santner from Ryan Square? I don't think it is Santner, is it?
Throws right-handed, it's not Santner.
No. I think that was.
Santner's normally boundary riding anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's very quick across the ground and he's got a good arm.
Yeah.
Annoyingly talented at many sports.
Indeed. There's only a single.
Lucky lad.
And Banton will take up strike against Ish Sodhi. Comes in, tosses it. Oh, it's flat, Phil. Carved out into the offside, into extra cover. There is a man sweeping the boundary. That's Santner. He's out there, of course, you can't miss him. And that will only get through for 1. And it's England 50 up in the 7th over.
Yep, that's the prerogative of a good boundary rider. Get the ball out of your hands quickly.
Quick, indeed. And Sodhi will come in to bowl his 3rd ball in his first over. Tosses it up. Milan can only get forward and defend it, but just drops it into the offside. They set off quickly and they get another single.
Well, I think Sodhi would take 6 off this over at the moment.
Yeah, he probably would.
I think you'd asked him at the start of the over.
I think any bowler in bloody T20 would take 6 off an over, to be fair. One of balls is pretty good going in this format. Heaved at by Banton, doesn't really time it. I think he's trying to go up and over the leg side, but got an under edge, square out to the boundary. And once more, it's a single.
Santner pointing out to him his 1 for 2 off his first over.
Well, 4 dots. And Sodhi comes in for the 5th ball of the over, bowling to Dawood Malan, who reverse sweeps and reverse sweeps nicely. Gets it behind square, beats the man at point, and races away out there for 4 runs. Good shot by Dawood Malan. Kind of rolled his fingers over that, Sodhi.
Spent too much time with Owen Morgan, I think.
Yeah. Plays that shot pretty well though. Malan, last ball of the over. Sodhi, and he just gets on his toes, clips it out into the deep on the leg side. Santner comes in off the boundary. That wasn't Santner.
No, it wasn't Santner. That was right-handed again.
That would be Martin Guptill, I think.
You think it was Guptill? Yeah, possibly. Anyway, it's a single off the last ball of the over. Malan will retain the strike. As we go into adverts, and look at this weekend's football dates. Liverpool Man City is the game this weekend. Win by Liverpool, 9 points clear. That was sweet. It's at Anfield as well. Looking forward to that.
You putting your money on Liverpool?
Well, I will do if the odds are any good. Well, actually, they should be quite good. It'll be a pretty even game, I thought. Yeah, I fancy us at home. Did you see that game the other day, actually,
with Chelsea on 4-4?
What's his name? Their keeper got injured at half time, and then the second keeper came on and got a red card right at the end of the game against Atalanta the other day.
Walker went into goal.
And Walker went into goal. It was hilarious. There's a big appeal. Santner comes in for his second over. Big appeal as Milan goes down and tries to hoik it into the leg side. probably pitched outside leg, maybe pitched on the stumps, but going
Well,
down
I think
leg.
Santner's very disappointed he didn't bowl him,
Oh, actually, yeah, he missed it.
because that was an arm ball, went straight on, and Seifert, just with the flashing blade in front of him, just got his eye off the ball very slightly, and it went through his legs.
Indeed, I missed that. It missed the stump, so I don't know what the hell Santner was appealing for. It couldn't be a catch, it was dropped, and it certainly didn't hit a pad.
I think he's calling Seifert a muppet, actually.
Probably worked on both. He was expecting the catch.
What a bantam face up. 31 off 19 is better. Well, he's gone for the reverse. And there's another appeal for Obido. Don't give that out, mate.
That's gone over the top, hasn't it?
It's probably gone over the top. He's turned himself around and he's got himself well outside the off stump. I don't think
They've reviewed it.
they've reviewed it. It's got
yeah.
to, I think it's got to have hit him outside the line, hasn't it?
That was out, that was out, that was definitely out.
Was that definitely out?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I suspect it's not. I think that Bantam turned himself around. Maybe my eyes are not that good when I haven't had that much sleep, but it's not a no ball.
Further update on the Dull dress. Jay tweets to announce, I'm flooded and I'm wearing a cheery shirt, bright red waterproof, and some daft looking bald trunks with pineapples on them. The mail will get through.
Well, it was an alternative reverse sweep. It may have been in line, actually. It could be marginal on off stump. I don't think there was any bat in it.
No,
It certainly doesn't appear to be. It's difficult sometimes, the camera is just off to the angle. You know what, that could be in line with off stump, in which case it's probably going on to hit them.
If it clipped his front pad, he's probably not. But
Oh, that's a good point. Did it clip the front pad? I don't think
don't
it
think it
did.
has. No.
No, I think he's just
there's a
as he
slight-
puts pressure on, I think the pad just moves away slightly,
Yeah.
which gives the impression that it's
There's a
actually
little
clipped
flip on Snicker.
Well, we'll have a look. The lights weren't particularly good last time on the lineups, but
He's a tall guy, Banton, so
It is.
even though he's
Gone a
hit
long
him
way round.
below the sort of knee roll, he might still be going over.
well, it's hitting line. It's going on to hit the stump, surely. Yeah.
Oh dear.
It is hitting. It's hitting the top of off stump. So I was wrong.
Yeah, it's all
On the
out, that one.
replay, I thought it hit him outside the line. It hasn't, and the umpires have got both decisions wrong so far. One in New Zealand's favour, one in England's, and Banton has had to go. It's a shame. He's looking quite good, but he's gone.
You silly little boy, what on earth were you playing at? No! No! No!
Yeah, filthy. Problem with some of these crazy reverse shots.
It was just unnecessary.
It was unnecessary.
It was his downfall in the last match, wasn't it? Or
It
so
was
he got
indeed,
bowled through
yeah.
his legs, trying to do that.
He
Yeah.
did, yes.
He fell through the gap.
Well, Santner's got 2 for 2 off 1.2. He's bowled pretty well. He'll be happy with his day so far. And it'll bring out England's skipper. Yeah, my initial thought was that was never out, but Santner was correct. And it was a good review in the end by the Kiwis. It's probably because Hampton got so far outside the off stump with his reverse.
Very good arm ball, actually. There's hardly any spin on that.
Yeah, there
there?
is hardly any speed. Well, he doesn't really spin it that much anyway, Santner.
Well, he spins it surprisingly a lot more than you think. Every now and again, he will bowl one into the dirt, and it will just absolutely rip
Yeah.
and go square. And you think, but I didn't think he used it. He spun the ball.
Well, generally he seems to roll it a bit, but I guess every once in a
Anyway,
while he puts some
it's
action on.
brought this sort of other Middlesex left-hander to the crease.
His first ball, he just guides down into the offside towards the man short at third man on 45, really just inside the circle. Malan sets off straight away and they get 3 for a single.
Jay's comment, the bear looks like a tiny wee man between those two balding monsters.
Why, thank you. I'm also quite slouched.
Well, we must
Relax,
Be,
Uncle.
I must go on a
Relax,
diet if I
relax.
make you look small.
Well, I've been on the exercise bike once more. Start again. Clips into the leg side by Malan. Gets himself another single. He's at 18 off 16. England has 60 for 2. 2 balls left in the 8th over.
2 to come, he says.
Yep, 2 to come.
Confirmed by the ump.
And
It's always channeling Boris Johnson and Winston Churchill.
fuck off, Boris Johnson. Thrown wide this time by Santner. It's not going to be a wide. It was inside the tram line. I don't think that will bother Owen Morgan. He knows he can do what he needs to do. Santner comes in, last ball of the over. It's thrown wide, carved out to the man, sweeping on the cover boundary. It's Mitchell out there, Darryl Mitchell. And he may have been a man I haven't picked up earlier. And the over ends with a single.
I'm just wondering what's going to be a good score on this pitch, because it.
Well, they were
they're
saying it was high
160,
scoring,
170, but I'm not sure it really looks like that, the way people are playing.
Well, it's possible. I suppose 60 odd off 8.
7 and over.
7 and over.
Allow for acceleration, so it could be 165 maybe.
165, 170, yeah.
The first wasp when it came up about
It was 185.
185.
It's
yeah.
almost, ubiquitous, isn't it? Oh, they're going to get 185. I mean, wasp is
175 nil.
Quite poor. Ooh, dropped a little bit short by Sodi.
And that's
steps back, tries to carve into the
kind
leg
of
side.
why I think it's not going to be as high a
Well,
score
this
as you
is
think.
it. It doesn't seem to bounce quite true. It's just a little bit sticky. Morgan gets an under edge into his pad, just drops in front of him, and there's no run. Sodi went for 9 off his first over. Next ball has been launched. That one sat up. I didn't get as much of it as I thought he got. Anyway,
Must be the long boundary.
Well, it's not. It's a short. Isn't
Oh,
it?
is it
Short
really?
square. Yeah, it's much like a cake tin. It's short. A square. Anyway, it's been hoiked over the leg side by Owen Morgan for 6 runs. Very low on the bat.
Came right off the bottom, didn't it? That's why it didn't go as fast as we thought. Yeah.
I mean, that's after this ball.
And the next ball is a
more
hockey
riddled.
shot, really. Top spin over the top of it as he tried to repeat the dose. Bits early on the ball, I think. Managed to get the bottom hand in and roll the wrists. Got it down to long leg. They'll get back for 2 though. Morgan moves on to 10 off 6.
If I was Sodi, I'd be bowling it fuller rather than shorter on this wicket, because it's got very short square boundaries. I wanted to hit down the ground.
Indeed. Doesn't look quite as short square as was it a cake tin? Sodi is in and goes back. That is fuller. But Morgan goes deep in his crease, punches it out to the man on the cover boundary, and will get himself a single. 9 off the first 4 balls of the over.
They're preferring Sodi to Santner, aren't they? By a long way.
Maybe they're saying. I think they might. Santner's kind of utility bowler, isn't he? You bring him in when you want something to happen, it seems.
Well, he can bowl defensively early on, and he can bowl at the death. He's a Swiss Army knife.
Indeed. That again is a little bit full. Morgan goes back, can't get underneath it this time, and under edges it really out to a stretches deep mid wicket. Gets himself a single.
Again, it was a very lazy bounce, didn't it? This was not quite as exciting a pitch as I think they originally thought.
Well, no, I guess that's drop-ins, isn't it? And if you don't
see the stitching
first time
down
one's
left.
used, then I guess no one knows what it's going to be like. But that one, he hasn't got enough on that, has he?
No.
Oh
no, he's not out.
Well, we don't know if it's 6 or not, because
Has he touched the boundary?
Has he touched the boundary?
Well, I don't know.
Or did he get rid of it because he knew he was going to?
Yeah.
It's Darryl Mitchell. Is that Darryl Mitchell? It is Darryl Mitchell out there.
He's not contesting it. He thinks he's hit the boundary.
I think he does. Morgan's gone to slog sweep that and hasn't got enough on it again. Darryl Mitchell has got around to catch it. He's quite far in from the boundary. I don't know why he was getting rid of it, but he fell over towards the boundary and decided to get rid of the ball before he rolled over the boundary, which he did eventually hit. He wasn't in control of it. Maybe that was a good idea, but Morgan gets away with that, really. Ends up getting 2 when he could have quite easily been out.
It was good thinking, I think, by Fielder, wasn't it?
In the end, I don't know if he actually ended up hitting the boundary.
He did, yeah, he did touch it.
I mean, it's quite reasonably inside it. Yeah, he kind of fell over towards it, didn't he? Yeah, and if he'd have held onto the ball, he would have ended up rolling over it.
His backside smashed the board.
Yeah.
The sponge.
No, I don't think it's sponge. I think it's one of those cardboard ones, foldable ones, and he's just flattened it. Well, Blair Tickner's back into the attack.
He went for 17 off his first, so that's
first over,
right.
Yeah. Phantom.
No more of that.
Gave him some tap. He's
More
no longer
possible.
out there. Milan is facing up. And an appeal for LBW. No.
Probably outside leg.
I think it pitched outside leg. It was pretty full, and he was trying to pick it up on the leg side. They're going to
thinking about
review
it,
it again.
yeah.
Well, they were correct the first time.
They're going to gamble on it just getting in line on leg stump, I think. I think that's going to smash down middle and off.
I think it's going to. You think? I thought it was going to hit middle and leg. Certainly, it was pretty full. It's not a no ball. They're very good at that, keeping their toes behind the line. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's pitched outside leg. Surely it's hit him in line with about middle and leg. And again, it looks like there's something. I think it's the reflection of the light on the back gives it the impression there's a little bit of inside edge, but I don't think you're anywhere near it. There's nothing on Sniggo. He's on the crease, Milan. Now the question is, did it pitch outside leg? Because it's definitely going on to hit the stumps. Wade Knights is the third umpire. Can't hear what he's saying.
Roll it back, roll it forward.
Yeah.
That's what
rock and roll.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, rock and roll. Now the question
Go
is,
to ball
where
tracking
did it
when
hit?
ready, please.
Outside leg.
I think that's outside leg.
I think that's.
I put a little pretty close, but
oh no, in line.
Pitching
It is
outside leg. No.
Outside
Pitching
leg.
outside leg.
leg,
Have you
yeah.
lost?
I
don't like this the system and the graphics they've got for New Zealand. I don't particularly like.
Anyway, good news from Jay. I've been inspired by the bear to get an exercise bike. Should I pedal to things that I enjoy or things which cause me rage? Question mark.
I watch telly. I find something on Netflix or something was on
Not
the
while
previous
watching Question
night,
Time.
or find a movie on Sky. Yeah, something. Occasionally I watch Politics Live while I'm doing it, which makes me go faster when I get enraged. Hit by David Milan, but he's got it up and over mid-on. There's not a lot of clean hitting going on here. It dribbles away to wide, long on for 4 runs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pulled his fingers a bit across the seam. It was a cross-seam delivery into the pitch. It wasn't particularly well timed, was it?
it's just a baseball slap. But
Yeah.
Still slapped enough.
Slapped enough, yeah, indeed. Next ball is Fuller, and Milan drives that sweetly and pleasantly out through the covers.
Message
Mitchell's out there on the boundary for a single.
Message from our friend Morg. Hello from the same time zone as Evil Scooters and Spinner Grace and no one else of any consequence.
Morning, Mog. Morning. I suppose it's evening for you, isn't it? It's very early in the morning here. I was up at 4 o'clock. A bit grim.
Yeah, the alarm was a bit of a shock, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, I tried to go to sleep, and the thing is, I didn't go to sleep. It felt a bit rough yesterday, actually. Fell asleep in the afternoon, and then couldn't sleep in the evening.
I'm surprised you're moving at all, Bear. Shouldn't you be hibernating?
Well, it's getting to that point. It's getting cold. Morgan's going to face up 13 off 8. At the end of this over, we shall have a change. Napier will come back in. That's guided down to short third man. Sodhi fields it, and there is no run this time. I shall take a scoot out. One of you two can fight over who wants to do ball by ball. Do rock, paper, scissors, or just decide it yourselves.
Jason's in the mood. You go in and I'll do jingles. Okay. And then I'll do the last 5.
There you go.
Unless you want to come back in there.
Well, I'll come back in, but you can do the ball by ball. And Jason can have a little break for the last 5, and then everyone's had 5 off. And a spot of umpire.
Oh, shot.
That's a good shot. That's a pickup shot. And he's got a nap on that, and it's gone straight over wide, long on. It was full and shoved a little bit wide by Tickner, but Morgan went across and picked it up. Gets himself 6 runs.
miracles since you came to bat. You sexy thing, you. I believe in miracles since you came out to bat.
I think the person in the crowd lost it either in the sun or just pulled out, catching it, ran away from the ball as it turned up at him. And this time it goes inside out over the top to
Lovely
extra
shot.
cover, and there isn't anyone there. Good spot in the gap in the crowd. The skipper has decided to take this on himself, gets himself 4 runs, moves on to 23 off 11. England at 88 for 2. I'm going to nip out of here. Jason's going to nip in, and Knuckles going to join you back, and I will see you shortly.
It's been too many overs on a little couch, just like an old biddy. They need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the sofa, change gon' come. Oh yes it is.
And it's the halfway stage, and England are 88 for 2, with Morgan on 23 off 11 balls, and Milan has just gone off the screen.
Darwin Milan is 24 off 20. Change of bowling. Southey out of the attack, and New Zealand's best bowler in the series is back.
Centenor baby, get some breath into the pads.
And that's pushed across him. Big flail by Milan. That's gone on the outside edge down to fine third man, and they scamper through for 2 runs.
Yeah, England being very severe on Blair Tickner tonight. He's got smashed around by Tom Banton in his first over, got taken by Darwin Milan, and a couple of times by Owen Morgan off the at the halfway point.
And that's
long last.
That's the long handle, and that's beautifully and cleanly hit by Milan to deep mid-wicket for a maximum.
The number of the day, Billy hops and kicks. The number of the day is 6.
Yeah, before the start of this over, 36% of England's runs had come off Blair Tickner's 2 overs. That was a glorious shot from Darwin Milan to the longest point of the ground as well. That sort of corner at long on these long straight boundaries, but that was hit incredibly cleanly by Darwin Milan.
It made that easily, didn't it?
Yeah, 10 yards back over the boundary.
First time they've got hold of Santner.
Not a bad ball, really.
Yeah, but Santner's arcing across the left-handers, and there's another one arced across.
Oh, shot!
And that's beautifully hit through the covers. One bounce, thudding into the boundary at cover.
My name is Lakan. My name is.
Yeah, he's trying to push it wide across Milan to try and get him to skew one off the outside part of the bat, or try and go down the ground and not get all of it. But Milan has set himself for that, pinged it over the top of extra cover.
It wasn't very far over the top of cover. He
It
just
wasn't, was it?
But he
Well.
picked New Zealand's least athletic fielder in Ross Taylor.
That's the better ball altogether. Fuller and Milan just walks into it and knocks it into the leg side down to mid-on for a single.
I understand what Santner's trying to do. He's not an easy man to come down the track to, because he varies his pace very nicely. He bowls generally slightly flatter than you think, so you can't quite get under it.
And he's in again, and that's again across Morgan, who's hit it off the outside edge, straight over point for 6.
I believe in miracles since you came to bat. You sexy thing, you. I believe in miracles
You do have to feel.
since you came out to bat. You sexy thing.
I was just about to say that's exactly what he's bowling for.
Yeah, I mean, you have
Excellent
to feel
shot,
slightly
wasn't
sorry for Santner, because he's doing exactly what he wants to, and it just they've just hit him all over the park this over, and that's gone
That was
for
excellent. Yeah.
20 that over?
Well, 88. What was that? 100.
While you're
Yeah,
looking.
20 off that over. England 108 for 2.
Little message.
The last ball was just bunted, a full toss that was bunted down to long off for a single.
Message from Mayank. He asks, why does every third umpire say rock and roll? Are they forced to say it? They sound like a bunch of knobs.
It's just one of those things that sort of...
It's a technology term, I think.
Yeah, sort of, I don't know, it just got introduced by one third umpire and they've all seemed to pick it up. New Zealand bring back, well, in theory, their spearhead, although he's not a regular part of their T20 squad, the big left armer coming into the attack.
How does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout? How does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
That last over has just brought up the 50 partnership between the pair in 22 balls.
Yeah, very impressive. Owen Morgan, 30 off 13 balls, having not looked in great form at any point during the series thus far.
Bolt, and that's sort of short and flailed by Morgan. He's definitely in the mood to take full toll of everything today, and that's through the outside edge, down to third man for 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
England have taken 60 off the last 5, 63 now off the last 5 overs.
Ravi Nair has the answer. Well, they're not allowed sex or drugs while they're on the fields, so rock and roll is all they have. All umpires bar Dickie Bird are hippies at heart.
Bolt, that's a better length and it's fuller, and that's just worked into the onside, and they scamper through for a single.
Yeah, Mitchell Santner 2 for 5 off his first 2 overs, then taken for 20. Possibly you could say he's being a little bit predictable, trying to fire everything wide of the left-handers off stump from round the wicket. But particularly that last 6 from Morgan, that was a genuine outside edge with the man set there for it, and it just about cleared him. A little bit unlucky for Santner.
Here we go again. Bolt. That's a full toss on leg stump. He didn't quite get hold of that, and it's straight to the field out there at deep mid wicket, and they just walk a single effectively.
Ravi asks also, who voluntarily admits to being in the same time zone as Scott Morrison?
Well, unfortunately these things are somewhat unavoidable. We're in the same time zone as any number of horribly disreputable people.
And England are now 114 for 2 off 11 overs. I wonder if this pitch is much better the older the ball gets. And Bolt bowls, and that's good ball just outside off stump, backing away by Morgan. He just bunts it into the offside, and they get a quick single.
I think maybe, I wonder if it's just quickening up a little bit.
So.
Not so much because of the ball. It's just sometimes pitches quicken up, and not normally this quickly, admittedly, but maybe just as the floodlights are taking effect, the pitch is just quickening up a little.
Are we into the? Well, we're not even close to the sunset period yet, where the ball starts to move around to do stuff.
No, not yet. With that sort of period between the natural light fading and the artificial light taking over. And you can see the sun is...
shadows are getting quite long.
It is. The sun is not too far above the stand.
Bolt, full, on leg stump. Milan smashes it into his leg pad. The ball dribbles out into the mid-wicket area, and they make their way to the other end for a single.
Jay comments,
9 off the over, and England are 116 for 2.
Jay comments, Knackle doing slow motion batting shots is reminding me of my act up dancing in 1995.
They weren't meant to be slow motion, but it is 5:55 in the morning, so...
At this rate, Morgan is going to overtake Milan in the next ball, probably.
Yeah, Milan did not start at all fluently.
It's a small mouth one, it's in, and
absolutely
glorious. Smashed straight, and just inside the boundary.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
And Morgan overtakes Milan with that. That's a lovely shot, just a nice little golf shot straight down the ground. Not quite a pitching wedge, but something like a 6-iron.
Yeah.
Another 12 off that over.
Yeah, the shot looked a lot nicer than the end result, as it were. But if you're hitting dead straight down the ground, it's a pretty safe shot. Obviously, longer straight boundaries here at McLean Park in Napier. So England taking 12, 32, 47 off the last 3 overs.
They've nearly doubled their score.
Yeah, quite. 124 to Johnny Bairstow 8 off 9, never looked fluent at at any point. Tom Banton looked very good for a little while. Tried to reverse slap Mitchell Santner past the man who sort of past the field, the offside field. They had the short third man up in the circle, so the shot was on, but he got the timing all wrong.
Tickner again, and that's on the leg side. Worked around the corner by Milan. Nothing more than a single there. That was straight to the fielder on the boundary.
Another 1-over spell forced by England's aggression.
You do wonder what New Zealand have got up their sleeve in case this continues.
You've got Colin de Grandon.
Yes, I would have thought.
They've not given a ball to.
De Grandon might be an option.
Daryl Mitchell bowls a bit of seam-up dob as well.
Tickner, that's a good ball. That's well played. Dug that out of a middle stump. That was full. All he can do is basically knock it out and run a quick single to mid-on.
Have you got hand warmers or something in your pocket, Jason? There's a little bit of rustling going on with the...
no, I've got a cold, so there's some lozenges in there.
Sure.
But I shall stop playing with myself.
Short fine leg, backward point, extra cover and mid-off up in the circle.
And Tickner bowls it across. There's a flays an outside edge by Milan. Do they run for two? No, they don't.
Someone's lost the bat.
Someone's lost their bats behind them. I'm just seeing a montage of all the hitting from the last 3 or 4 overs. And some spectacular shots, particularly by Morgan.
Yeah, well, I thought Milan's Morgan's sort of lofted cover drive over Mitchell Santner was the best of the lot. I think it's the best shot of the day so far, I think.
Lucky number 13. That's moved across him. He's tried to hit it through the offside. Inside edge onto his front pad, and that's squirted out and run a single.
Milan setting off without his bat in that last run.
Yes, guilty of bat watching. Decent comeback from Blair Tickner. I was only talking about the fact he'd gone for 32 off his first 2 overs, but you'd take going at a run a ball at this stage.
Milan in a 6.
Oh, that's a lovely shot by Milan off Tickner. It was full. It was there to be hit. It was a drivable length, but he just laid into that. And
I'll take
over extra cover.
I'll take a 1 bounce 4.
Yes.
To quote a great man, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Absolutely smoked by David Milan off the top of over the top of cover.
That was like a tracer bullet, that one, wasn't it?
As you say, it was pretty much a half volley from Blair Tickner right in the slot, but still had to be put away and was done, and Milan did so with extreme prejudice.
And a change of tactic here. He's bowled short, and Milan all he can do is work that round, a sort of paddle pull down to square leg.
Young Kane.
Easy single.
Yeah, seeing Kane Williamson being interviewed, rested from this T20 series due to a hip injury that he sustained in Sri Lanka, but we do expect him to be back for the Test series. Just a precaution for New Zealand to keep their star man in action. Steve, what have we got over there on social media?
People replying to each other at the moment, so Mark is commenting about no one else of any consequence in speech marks.
Australians being competitively modest with each other.
Yes, indeed.
So England 129 for 2 off 13, and Southey has returned.
Yeah, Southey's really shuffling his pack here. I'm not quite sure when the last time a bowler bowled 2 overs in a row was.
What's up, Dad? What's cooking? What's up, Dad? Oh, you're looking for Bugs Bunny Bunting. Duck is gonna hunting.
Tim Southey
is in, and then that's pretty much a repeat of the last ball of the last over. It's sort of driving length outside off stump, and
that's his 50.
Milan had just flogged that through the offside for another 1 bounce 4. That's 50 off 46 minutes and 31 balls.
Yeah, nicely played by David Milan. As I say, a really shaky looking start, shaky tour thus far for David Milan in places at least, but that's a very well made 50.
50 runs, you're 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done.
No, it's another one.
Pretty much the same result. It's a full toss this time, outside off stump. Milan doesn't quite get all of it, and the good team fielding stop that, and they take three.
They took 3 then, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Billings was talking about that being a possibility on this ground, into those corners, getting 2s and 3s, almost like indoor cricket style.
But in indoor cricket, you don't flog it in there. You just
you
nudge
open
it
the face. Yeah. It's England playing with the dimensions of the ground a little bit. Feels like a beautiful ground, despite it being enclosed on 3 sides.
It's a slower ball, slower wide ball outside off stump, and Morgan has got enough of that, despite the despairing boot of Southey, to hit it past him and past the mid-on fielder for 4.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Morgan himself approaching his 50, he's got 46 off 20. Southey, what can Southey respond with? That's a length ball, and that's nicely worked past a short third man, completely in control of the shot, and that takes Morgan to 50.
A little bit of delicacy to go with the power. 50 off 21 balls for the England captain, 5 4s and 3 6s.
England have really put
Sorry, go ahead.
England have really put their foot on the accelerator over the last 6 overs.
Yeah, absolutely. 100. What are they now?
140 something.
50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Cricket Info Bobo ball thing has gone screwy. For some reason, we went to a mini ad break in the middle of an over.
And that was knocked through to point on the boundary.
Yeah, England were, let's have a look at, they were 73 for 2 off 9. So in the last 5 overs, they've added 45 take 73. England have added
72.
Yeah, it's hugely impressive. Almost double in 5 overs.
That's
they got
another
the previous
4.
9.
I'm not sure of this tactic about bowling sort of across the left-handers outside off stump, because
that's 20
Morgan and
runs
Milan
well.
are just teeing off on everything that's outside off stump and hitting it over, round, through the fielders for 4 runs.
2 + 2 is on man.
I mean, this has been a good indication that whatever your plan is, even if you've got a very good plan, you can't only have one plan, because it's meant that Morgan and Milan have been able to identify where they're trying to hit the ball. If it's short, they're going to go across the off stump and whip it over the leg side. If it's full, they're going to go with the angle and hit it over the offside. They haven't had that much to think about. We've seen, one slower ball bouncer? Not really seen a Yorker in these last few overs.
We saw one bouncer, and that was paddle pulled.
Mog acting as weather correspondent. I'm not entirely sure if it's relevant, but the weather here has taken a recent turn for the shite, so it's heading New Zealand's way.
The forecast for Napier today is for absolutely no chance of rain throughout the day, but there is rain forecast a little bit for Auckland, I think, which is the 5th T20. 91 of 40 Morgan and Milan have put on, and trying to stem the tide is this man.
Centaur baby, get some drift into the pads for me. Been an awful good Kiwi. Centaur baby, and guard them.
Oh dear, that won't help. Oh my lord!
That's got to be,
might be a no ball,
the
though.
filthiest wicket, if it is a wicket. That was a high-ish full toss outside off stump, and Morgan has just hit that straight to square leg. The umpires are converging. They're going to discuss, are they going to give that as a no ball, or is that going to be a dismissal? They're going to What are they doing? They're going to.
Are they going to have a look upstairs?
What's the soft signal? The soft signal is.
There isn't one.
No. While they're doing that, messages. Good morning, afternoon all. Wallowing in my competitive modesty at the moment as I prepare to go and watch the Australia versus Pakistan ODI this afternoon in 35 Celsius heat. It's supposed to still be spring and it's 40°C tomorrow.
For me, that is clearly above his waist. That is a no ball.
Yeah, they've changed the regulations for spinners, haven't they? Because it used to be that for spinners, a height no ball had to be above shoulder height. But Mitchell Santner, a terrible bit of cricket all round, frankly,
and a free hit. Lair, good morning, Gorillas.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Smokey.
Good morning, Gorillas, on this 30th anniversary of the wall coming down.
Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall, and eventually he did. A momentous day indeed for world history.
God, 89.
Yeah, poor bit of cricket all round, really. Santner bowling a pie full toss. Morgan barely getting any of it, really. Only Darryl Mitchell, the catcher, came out of that with any credit, and now we've got a free hit. They cross while the ball's in the air, so they can change the field. It looks like the offside field. Short fine leg, short third man, backward point and extra cover. Everyone else back.
What are you going to do, Santner? And that's bowled a Yorker. That's a good ball. All he can do is drive that well along the ground to long off for a single. Take the score to 152 for 2.
Yeah, good comeback delivery from Mitchell Santner.
He's 2 for 28 now off his 3.10. That's more like his normal fare. That's speared across the left-handers. Milan thinks as a single, goes down the wicket, but is sent back and has to hurry a bit for the throw to avoid being run out. No run. And again,
good ball again.
That's Fuller just outside off stump. Morgan tries to work it to the leg side, but can't get it past Santner diving, and that's no run.
A superb bit of fielding of his own bowling. He was almost at short mid-wicket when he ended up snagging that.
And that's wider again. Morgan goes down the ground, doesn't get all of it, fortunately, because he evades the man there, and it just bounces in front of him for a single.
Good comment from Evil Scooters. It seems a rather odd time to be playing this match, given the shadows and the glare on the TV. Or maybe it's just I'm watching this on an iPad. No, it's glaring. That's wide.
That must be a wide, yes. Sanders trying this line. It's a fine line between getting it right and getting it wrong. That one was just wrong. Outside the tram lines, and that's a wide. And slight overcompensation. That's too much on the stumps. Milan can get down to it and slog sweep it to deep mid wicket, but it's only a single, and we'll have a change in the.
Is Bear coming in?
Personnel at the end of the over in 1 ball's time. The Bear has been summoned. That's a good ball. That's on off stump. Morgan goes back, chops that into the offside, out to deep extra cover. England are 156 to 2, and you'll hear some different people after this.
Steve Jones will come on to ball by ball. I'll stay where I am and do a little bit of talking. Owen Morgan, Mitchell Santner going for just 7 off that over, much more in keeping with his previous spell. That over where he got smashed for 20 looks like somewhat of an anomaly. He finishes with 4 overs, 2 for 32, which is pretty decent in the context of any T20, but certainly in this game when Morgan and Milan had just been rampant for the last few overs. They've taken 90. They've scored 98 in their partnership, or just 7.4 overs, going at almost 13 and over. Mitchell Santner really the only shining light for New Zealand.
What's the partnership?
98.
98. So another 2 more for the Century Partnership. That'd be the first England have managed to achieve in this little mini-series against New Zealand. Wasp now predicting 2-1-4.
Yeah, change of bowling at the embankment end. This man coming back on for his last over.
So Tickner starts with a full toss, which Morgan slaps through mid-on. They think about 2, but they're sent back, and it's restricted to just the 1 run. Milan moves on to 59 from his 35. Morgan currently 55 off his 28. Tickner 3 overs, 1 ball, 0 for 42. So
Skipper's taken the responsibility here of getting England going again after the loss of Tom Banton. He's struck the ball really cleanly to both sides of the ground.
Been one of his really good knocks again, hasn't it? He's been in good form actually, hasn't he? So more the second ball of the over just nudges that out into the offside. Milan, my apologies, into the offside, and they jog through for a little single. So that is the 100 partnership of 49 balls in probably about 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's hugely impressive from England's two left-handers, setting the platform for Sam Billings and the rest down the order.
Tickner in with another full toss, which this time Morgan plays all around. It just misses his off stump, goes through to Seaford behind the stumps, and they can't take any runs.
That was smartly bowled. That was a good slower ball from
a little bit of swing on it
from Blair Tickner. A little bit of drift. Yeah, Morgan beaten by lack of pace far too early on the stroke.
Can't blame the pitch for that one. So Tickner jogs in past the umpire, and Morgan just flat backs that straight back over the umpire's head, straight for 4 more runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The umpire saw his life flashing before his eyes. Blair Tickner's been guilty of going length a couple of times. He's bowled a couple right in that slot, sort of half volley length just outside off stump. A real whip of the bottom hand from Owen Morgan to keep that straight. Beautifully played.
Very good shot. Tickner in again another full toss, might be over mid-mid fight. He's caught again, but I suspect they're going to review this because this does look
chest.
too
That was
high,
a chest high full toss, wasn't it? Martin Guptill didn't really celebrate as he came in to catch that. So it looks like for the second time in 2 overs, it's a single off a no ball and a free hit.
Well, it's not a no ball with his front foot anyway, but it's it's straight into his midriff. That's miles above his waist.
Over the line! I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line.
It's not been officially called, but it will be.
It will definitely. Rhythm stick time.
So unusual for New Zealand. Oh, it's fantastic. So unusual for New Zealand to be this ill-disciplined. They pride themselves, like England do, on controlling these controllables, where you don't bowl no balls, you don't give away any freebies. But 2 in just a couple of overs, really poor from Santner and then Tickner.
So the free has now been signalled by the umpire, so we know we're right. And Tickner jogs in again. Milan facing. Goes for rather an elaborate flick over the wicketkeeper's head, but completely misses it, and there's no run. Watching Johnny Bairstow sitting out, biting his fingernails. I'll get back in the nets, my boy. That wasn't an awful long way away from Milan's off stump.
No, although if you're going to try that shot, why not off a free hit when you can't be out?
So back to the proper over. Tickner is in again. Passing umpire. Another full toss. Milan really rather horribly mishits this and miscues this to mid-on. And they are restricted to just the 1 run. England move on to 165 for 2 at the end of the 16th over.
Yeah, Blair Tickner bowled pretty well in Nelson, but this has been a chastening day for New Zealand's inexperienced seam bowler, playing just his 3rd T20 international. 4 overs, none for 51. Sorry, none for 50 in that time. England 165 for 2 with 4 overs left.
Any news, Ben?
It's been a great season. She has a soft spot for the wildlife and lives amongst a whole lot of great cultural institutions. Even lucky enough to work at once. Keep in mind, she grew up in a small conservative town, though. I think does Spinner Grace live in
Canberra.
Canberra. Oh, okay. Leah says, I think I have to go hunting for some Griebenschmaltz today. Thanks for that, Napier. What's Griebenschmaltz?
I know it. I don't know, but apparently it's the 30th anniversary of the Berlin Wall coming down.
Ah, it is.
Or the start of it coming down. I've been to Canberra.
I've never been to Canberra.
Got a very nice...
Morning, Bear. Morning, Leah.
Well, that ball was the first ball of Sodi's third over. It was very wide, but Milan played at it and actually got the toe end of the bat on it to direct it down to the boundary for another one of these.
He does play the reverse sweep well, Darwin Milan. That would have been a very wide if he'd left that alone, but he figured that with short third man up, he could get 4 for it, and he did off this ban.
Sodi in again. Morgan just steps to the offside and just hoiks over mid-wicket for another 6.
It's Darwin Milan.
It's a Milan, sorry.
Yeah, 4 and 6 off the first couple of balls of Sodi's return over, and the very definition of a smaximum.
Smaximum.
You can tell Milan and Morgan have played at the same county for a long time because that just looked like Morgan. But anyway, it's still Milan facing Sodi, dances down the track, hits this straight back over mid-off, and that's a 6 into row C.
And drop.
Yeah, not an easy ground for crowd catches with that very low sun.
Yeah. Well, that was in the... Well, was it in the... I don't know if it was in the shade.
Attempted googly from Ish Sodhi. Most of his 6s that he's been hit for in this series has been when he's tried to really give it a rip and dragged and dropped it short, but that was a really good shot from Darwin Milan.
That's the second straight drive he's hit, which is really contacted, wasn't it? So.
Yep, didn't get to the pitch of it, but didn't really matter because he recognised that he hadn't got to the pitch of it and lofted it up and over long off and cleared him by some distance.
Sodi in again, a reverse sweep this time from Milan, and again that beats the fielder on the circle and crosses the boundary for another one of these. You coming in, Bet?
No, I was just thinking that Sodi's getting to tap, isn't he? I mean, this is only his third over and he's got
he's got over 40.
Well, he's gone for 20 off the first 4 balls of this over. Yeah, 2.4 overs, none for 41.
Yeah, 4-6-6-4 does not look pretty for
it does not
Sodi.
indeed.
England now 185 for 2 in still 2 more balls in the 17th over. Milan has galloped to 81 off 42. Sodi in again, pitches this, and Milan has just decided to put that into the crowd.
Johnny just,
I think it has just, yes. Yep, umpire signals one of these.
Darwin Milan celebrating his move to Yorkshire in some style.
Yeah. Indeed. Jay Groves says, Steve, could you pick up the man that's knackling Bear by the skull at the same time? God, it'd be funny. I think he's, you're rather taller than the pair of us. We're slumped in our chairs. Durban Oakey, while we're home, says, morning, we're doomed. No, we're not. 191 for 2 with 3 overs to go. Could be doomed.
This is England's 4th 100 partnership for the 3rd wicket in T20 internationals. Morgan's been in all of them.
So, Sodi this time drifting it down the leg side. Milan just sweeps it, doesn't reach the boundary, and I suspect the batsman will have crossed back for 2 more runs. And at the end of that expensive over, which has cost him 28, Sodi's figures 3 overs, 0 for 49. England 193 for 2, 3 more overs to come.
Evil Scooter says this all seems rather silly from the Kiwi bowlers so far. Playing for a live rubber 5th match. Well, they could be. England have done really well, actually. I mean, these two have batted superbly.
Yeah, that was... I thought Ishodi was a little bit unlucky in his first couple of overs, but his line was all over the place in that over. He looked a little bit discombobulated. That's going to happen. It happens sometimes as a wrist spinner, but he's been thinking for 28 off that over. He's gone for 49 off his 3 overs, and has left Tim Southey with a little bit of a problem now, so much so that this man's going to have to bowl out with still a couple of overs remaining, when I'm sure he would have wanted him to bowl one of the last 2.
How does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout, how does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
So in he comes, and again, down the leg side. Morgan doesn't really get hold of this.
I think it hit his back heel,
foot, didn't it, or
Mm.
something? Yes. I'm just showing us a replay of Sodi's rather poor last over. So anyway, the batsmen have jogged through for a run, and it's Milan on strike.
89 of 44, a T20 International 100 on the cards for David Milan. Would be his first. This is his highest score in T20 International cricket.
And very well played too. I was watching a replay of that last rather poor over. Anyway, Trent Bolt in to Milan, and Milan is just carrying on where he finished off with Sodi, and he's dispatched this what looks like another six.
Yeah, I thought that just cleared the line.
Yep, the umpires signalled it.
Yeah, Gaffney raises the hands.
Knuckleball, wasn't it?
That's a very good shot. So Milan moves to 95, one more smoked from a batting century as well as a partnership century. So what do New Zealand do to slow this down a little bit? Well, the old adage, they need a wicket.
Yeah.
It's been an odd bowling performance from New Zealand. It hasn't been. They seem to have one plan and one plan only. We've not seen any. We've been barely any Yorkers. Certainly no wide Yorkers. Only a couple of slower ball bouncers. Just haven't seen those variations and plans that we see from the best T20 bowlers.
Bolt outside off stump. Milan smears this to mid-off. It's fielded and there's no run. It stays on 95. England remain on 200 for 2. Wasp at about 227.
Yeah, I do find it odd that de Grandhomme hasn't bowled a single over in this game. Just taking the pace right off.
Probably want to keep him for his catching because he's good at that. Oh, a very well pitched up ball straight into Milan's pads. Ball just dribbles into the leg side and Bolt runs through and fields, and the batsman have charged through for a single.
Yeah, good from Bolt. Pretty much a leg stump Yorker, a little bit of swing taking it past leg stump. Look, I know Yorkers are not easy to bowl, and if you get them wrong, they can go the distance. But when everything else has been going the distance, why not try it?
In fact, that was right on Milan's toe. That'll hurt.
Yeah,
and he's showing it.
Yes, at reasonable pace from Trent Bolt. Not as quick as he perhaps used to be, not express, but certainly quick enough.
We all feel for you, David. Anyway, Bolt at the top of his run jogs in, past the umpire, outside off stump. Morgan just smears us straight down the pitch. There is a fielder there. Pulls back another one to the total 202 for 2. Morgan moves on to 61 off 33. He's looked rather pedestrian of late.
Well, yeah, he's just
the way
been
Milan's been going.
Watching the carnage at the other end. 9 runs off the over so far from Trent Bolt, the most economical that New Zealand have had in a little while.
Yeah, the 6 is sort of upsetting it a bit, isn't it?
Well, it's 7 that goes to his figures and a couple of leg buys off leg stump Yorkers. I'm not quite sure what New Zealand do from here with the 2 overs left. Southey will certainly bowl 1, but will they give Sodi another over?
So last balls. Bolt, just a full toss. Milan has just dispatched this over the mid-wicket boundary, and that brings up his 100.
Was that not a no ball?
I don't think it was, but we'll see.
His first T20 International 100 off 48 deliveries, 9 fours and 6 sixes. Well played, David Milan.
20, 30, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
And indeed, well done, David Milan. So England's innings has consisted of 24s and 10 sixes so far. Still 2 overs remaining. Wasp is now up to 233. And as they predicted at the beginning of the game, this is going to be a high-scoring match.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look like it in the first few overs, did it? England were all over the shop.
31 off the first 5 or 6,
yeah.
weren't they? Not have seen this coming. But it was us who jogged them, didn't we? We said they started slowly.
Absolutely.
It's 150 partnership as well. 3rd wicket, 84 from Milan, 61 from Morgs. So it's now Mitchell back into the attack.
Into the attack for the first time, in fact.
Indeed, first over, which has been Morgan's just clipped this off his legs down towards the fine leg boundary. Fielder has recovered it. The batsmen have gone through for 2 runs.
Yeah. an interesting time to come in and bowl. Apparently he does this a lot in domestic cricket. He'll come in and bowl 1 over, and it'll be either the 19th or the 20th, which is quite a tough specialism.
I've got to say, isn't it?
I'm of an old black funny and peep show. Wrote that book, oh, Darryl, not David Mitchell.
Mitchell in again down the leg side. That's signalled wide.
Wide.
Seaford gathered it very well. So, how do New Zealand slow this carnage down?
Well, they've gone to Mitchell to try and basically take all the pace off it. He bowls almost sort of Chris
Trundling,
Harris-style dob.
They are very trundly, aren't they? Anyway, he's in again. This time, just outside off stump. Morgs has smoked this very high. Has he got the legs? Yes.
Massive.
Huge six.
The number of the day really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 666.
That was a monster from Owen Morgan, right down on almost on both knees, got right under that. His hands are so quick, whipped the hand, bottom hand through the line of the ball to keep it straight, to keep the power into the shot, almost a hockey type stroke.
So Mitchell in again, this time straight. This has gone a long way up in the air. My word, it's coming down with snow on it. But once again, it's in the crowd for yet another 6.
Christ almighty.
5, 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row.
When Morgan sing it like this, it reminds me a little bit of that knock at Old Trafford against Afghanistan. There's no way you can bowl at him. There's nothing, and it's in the slot. It's kind of a length delivery, but there's nothing drastically wrong with that ball.
Well, here's a question for you. Is Morgan going to get his century as well? He's on 75 at the moment.
I think if he faces the rest of the innings, he might, yeah.
Yes. So Mitchell, 3 balls so far, 14 runs. His bounce is very, very short. It bounces over Morgan's head. Taken by the wicketkeeper. No run, no wide, no ball signal. So everyone relaxes. England 2-2-3-4-2. 8 more balls remaining. 6 counters up to 12 in this innings. Great performance so far.
5 hit by Morgan, 6 hit by Milan, and Tom Banton whipped one away off Blair Tickner.
So Mitchell jogs in again, up past the umpire. What's he going to bowl this time? A much fuller delivery, very slow ball into the slot, and Morgan has just dispatched this over mid-on's head into the advertising boards for yet another.
Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air. Legs move it side to side. Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air.
It's gone, haven't they?
Yes, the knuckleball didn't work there at all.
No, none of them have. The Saudis bowled a couple, Bolts bowled a couple that have just been picked up, just slot and picked up.
Last ball of the 19th over. It's a straight one on off stump. Morgan has just picked this up.
Oh, beautiful.
It, dissected the 2 deep fielders there for yet another boundary. And Morgan has galloped to 85 off his 39. England 233 for 2. Wasp at 246 now.
This is. I've never seen. I haven't seen anything like this for quite a while. Let's get some tweets in. Leah says the Schmaltz thing has nothing to do with the wall coming down, Knackle, but everything to do with us talking about Yiddish slang yesterday.
Oh yes, that's right, we were.
Okay. Jay Grover, I'm just encouraging violence to curry favour with our inevitable giant overlords. He says. He also says no moustache, no Grondom, half a man. And Ravi says it's as though the Kiwis, having had 2 great games, have suddenly discovered T20s is just as much about luck as skill, and it's all collapsing around them today. It does feel a bit like that, I have to say.
I mean, I can kind of see what you're saying, but there's been no shortage of skill from Milan and Morgan. Skill, placement, power. This is now the highest T20 international partnership for the 3rd wicket ever by anyone.
Right, first was Tim Southey's in to bowl the final over of this England innings. Right old mix-up there. Morgan came halfway down the track, met Tim Southey and decided I won't go any further, ran back. So at the end of all of that, no runs.
Southie.
Southie in again, very good ball actually. A little bit of swerve in towards Milan just outside his off stump. He nudges that out into the offside. There's no fielder there. Southie jogs across, collects the ball. The batsmen have run through for a single.
15 off 4 for Morgan to get his ton.
Well, let's cross our fingers and hope he does something.
He's never got to a T20 international ton either. This is his highest T20 international score.
So that was an interesting series of figures they put up with the highest ever T20 partnerships. Southie in again. This is a full toss, which
there's 6 of them.
Morgan has dispatched for 6. He's on to 91.
I think he wants his ton too, doesn't he?
I think he does.
Attempted wide Yorker from Southie, got it horribly wrong. Morgan just walked across that side off stump and really just flicked it over short fine leg, but he's hitting the ball so cleanly at the moment that the ball's
right
just
out of the middle,
cannoning off the middle of that bat.
So 3 more balls remaining to England, 240 for 2. Southie in again, wide outside off stump. Morgan has smeared this into the
catch.
air and has been caught by Mitchell.
Yeah, very good catch.
Very good catch.
You'll see that coming out of the sun. You see the camera operator lost the ball as it came out of the sun, but Mitchell has taken a couple of good catches and also had that one earlier where he had to take the catch and then flick it back into the field of play to avoid hitting the rope. But what a knock from Owen Morgan. 91 off 41. Superbly well played. And England 240 for 3, get a standing ovation
from the crowd,
all of McLean Park, and quite right for Owen Morgan. 7 4s and 7 6s in that knock, and it's been an absolute pleasure to watch.
Where would it stand in the pantheon of all-time T20 international scores? It must be quite up there, I thought.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Is it 285? Is that Afghan versus Ireland game?
I think
that's the
highest ever.
Highest ever,
yeah.
Wasn't it?
And actually, I think in that
278 for 3.
When they showed those highest ever partnerships, the first innings ones was about 230 or something.
Yeah, that was
that
in
must
that,
have been that game.
That was that game.
Yeah,
Hosrutullah Zazai
yeah.
178 in that game.
Mad, that was. Mog says, if there's something New Zealand, nay, international cricket has been crying out for, it's a new Chris Harris.
New Chris.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah. Right, 2 more balls to go. Southie is on his way to Milan, who's still there. Again, this one's smeared through mid-off. Fielder's there on the boundary, comes in. They jog through for 1. Sam Billings is the new batsman. He's going to get the pleasure of facing the very last ball of the innings.
Stroking the ball through the cover.
Rather pointless.
Bit of glory with the 6.
Softly hitting lonely in his own shots. Undeterred, Billings is softly scoring runs.
That is also a great jingle. Love that one.
Yeah, Sam Billings was in need of a bat before this game.
Yeah.
In a weird way, this hasn't helped.
No. So Southie in. Last ball, very short. Over.
Run, you idiots!
Should run anyway, but
yes. So anyway, that was a very rare thing, a dot ball to finish off the England innings. England 241 for 3 off their 20. Milan 103 not out. Certainly the man of the England innings there. Knackle, what are the details?
Gory. So that was 182, the partnership between Milan and Morgan, the 4th highest in any T20 international, the highest knocked by an opening pair, the highest by England for any wicket by quite some distance. So Johnny Bairstow, 8 off 9, caught by Darryl Mitchell off the bowling of Mitchell Santner. Not a great delivery in truth, a long hop, but straight down his throat. Bairstow never looked fluent. Tom Banton, on the other hand, did look very fluent. 4 4s and 1 6 in his 20 balls. He was LBW to Mitchell Santner, trying to reverse slap a quicker delivery. He went for 31. Then there was that monster partnership between Owen Morgan and David Milan. Partnership was 182 of 76 deliveries. Absolutely wonderful stuff from England's 3 and 4. Owen Morgan hold out in the last over to Daryl Mitchell. A good catch down there at deep extra cover off the bowling of Tim Southey. He went for 91 off 41 with 7 4s and 7 6s. Sam Billings played and missed at his one delivery. England, for no reason that makes any sense whatsoever, did not try and run through to the keeper off the last ball. But Darvin Milan, 103 not out of 51, his first T20 international, 109 4s and 6 6s. An absolute exhibition from the now former Middlesex man, but really thoroughly entertaining. Stroke play to all parts of the ground, absolutely picked their spots to begin with, and then once they got into their groove, there was nowhere New Zealand could bowl at them. Trent Boult coming back for his first T20 international since January 2018. Not bad in the context of the game, actually. 4 overs, none for 35. Tim Southey, 4 overs, 1 for 47. Mitchell Santner, again the pick of the bowlers, 4 overs, 2 for 32, and 20 of those coming in 1 over. Tough day for Blair Tickner, 4 overs, none for 50. Tough day for Ish Sodhi, 3 overs, none for 49, and a tough over for Daryl Mitchell coming on in the 19th to a rampant Milan and Morgan, 1 over for 25. He does this a lot in domestic cricket, not an easy gig, and every now and again you're going to get taken apart. Colin de Grandhomme, I think, might be wondering why he didn't get a bowl. Frankly, there were 8 extras. England 241 for 3.
If he had any sense, he probably developed an injury.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to bowl.
Sorry, Gov.
Last couple of tweets. Leah says she's quite distressed that English seemingly doesn't have a word for grievance smolts. Although Ravi comes back and says that word looks as though it should mean fatty suit made of little girl. Please tell me that I am wrong. I don't know. Possibly. Mark Zip says whoever is providing Google now with the States feed for this match has England at 43% for the win. I've only just tuned in, but that feels low to me. It feels low to me as well. Although clearly there's runs to be had out there, and it is generally considered to be a high-scoring ground. But 243 is going to be an awful. That's what 12 and over.
242 is the target at 12.1. So
yeah, that's pretty difficult to keep up, especially when you're chasing. It's much easier to set, but when you know you've got to get there, it's a lot harder, I reckon.
Especially if a few wickets go down.
Mog says Morgan's just pissed away a ton there. Well, you have to go for it. We're going to be back shortly, and I don't know. You're going to play something out there?
Yeah, just to say, this would not actually be a record T20 international chase, but only just. Australia in a tri-series against New Zealand in Auckland last year. Again, we covered. New Zealand made 243. Australia made 245 for 5 with 7 balls to spare.
Hell. That wasn't here, was it?
That was in Auckland. That was at Eden Park. But so not quite a record, but would be a New Zealand record. And if New Zealand get even close, it'll be a hell of a thing.
Okay.
So we'll be back just shortly, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Okay, we were, but then we ran away. We will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, no surrender, Percy Fender,
Good morning, good evening, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to Gorilla Cricket. Everything's got to be done double speed because we had a little bit of a technical problem. Who would have thought that without the bear here? We would have technical problems. Ireland have won the toss, and this time they bowl at Lords. Now, it's about the overhead conditions, says William Porterfield, but I kind of think it might have something to do with the fact that they don't want to be over by 3 o'clock this afternoon. Is that mean? Is that too mean? Possibly it is. But the England batsmen are out there. I'll give you the team changes in a minute. I'll just tell you that I'm Gorilla Hendo and I'm with Tilly North End.
Hello, hello.
She's on the tweets. She is your tweet maestro for the next half an hour. And we have Dial M from Isbah. It's Knuckle Pandy. Hi. On the jingles. And we will jingle people up as we go. But the news is that England are unchanged. A team of Roy, Hales, Root, Morgan, Bairstow, Billings, Rashid, Willie, Plunkett, Ball and Wood. And there's just one change in the Ireland side. Thompson misses out this time, and in comes Barry McCarthy. Looking forward to seeing him. Joyce Sterling, Porterfield, Balbirnie, Niall O'Brien, Wilson, Kevin O'Brien, Barry McCarthy, Georgie Dockrell, Tom Murtagh, Tim Even Murtagh, and of course Peter Chase, who bowled pretty impressively in that rather disappointing performance by Ireland at Bristol on Friday. First ball is about to be bowled from the nursery end. We'll jingle you up. 2 slips are there, and behind this one goes the England opening batsman and pushes it into the offside. There is no run. Let's get jingling.
You're getting too old for this shit. I'm too old for this shit.
Not so surprising coming from Murtagh.
I'm totally not.
Sure,
Murtagh.
And he's going to be bowling to this man.
Duckworth Lewis loves you. The clouds part for you. Nothing stands in your way when you're a Roy.
He comes forward, he's hit on the pad. That's worth a shout, surely. Paul Rifle is the umpire, and he looks at it quizzically, maybe a bit high. Did he just get outside the off stump? I don't know, but it was a worthy appeal, I would say.
Yeah, it was a good shout.
I think it struck him right on the knee roll, and he was advancing slightly.
Slightly. Let's have another look at it. He goes back first. It's a half press forward. It's quite high on the pad. That's probably why it was not given. But encouraging for Merton nonetheless. Here he comes. He's used to bowling, of course, at Lords. In, and he beats Roy with one that goes down the famous slope. Just gets that little bit of movement away. Goes through to the keeper, who is Niall O'Brien. Katie, have we been joined by anyone at all so far this morning?
We've got a few people joining us.
Hey.
Spangly side was having difficulties, but that I think was because we weren't on air yet.
That's probably
but
what
we're
it was.
here now. Dave Emrys has joined us. He says, well, hello. Andy and Bron says, I'm shocked Ireland are fielding first. Shocked and amazed. Amazed and shocked, I tells thee.
Are you amazed and shocked by any chance, Andy? I get that impression.
And Mog is here too. I'll read
Of course he is.
after this ball.
Drivable ball, straighter but a bit loopy, and Roy has dealt with that beautifully. He's just driven the 78-mile-an-hour delivery straight back down the ground for the first one of these. Well, that was right in the slot, wasn't it? It was like watching Middlesex v Surrey, that on a sort of game that's just sort of running away from everyone, really. Lovely shot, though. Full face of the bat. That's better from Roy. We were worrying about his rather complacent attitude he appeared on Friday. He's in again, bowls to him. Better length. Again, it's probing around off stump. He pushes firmly up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Were you at the Middlesex Surrey game the other day?
No, I was here, I'm afraid, doing England-Ireland. No, it was what a win for the Ray.
Yes.
Yes. But you're a Middlesex woman, aren't you? Along with
Not
Durham,
really. I mean, I had membership for Surrey and Middlesex last year and have given it up in protest at the
both of them?
ECB being wankers.
Oh, that's a fair point.
Yeah, that's slightly annoying. But,
yeah, they've been nasty to Durham, haven't they? And I totally understand your feelings. This is a better ball. Again, he's popping forward, not completely in charge of the shot, but pushes it again firmly towards the right hand of mid-on. And that is the end of the first over. A pretty decent over, apart from the one delivery. Merton has 1 over, none for 4. England are 4 for none.
Got a few more tweets. Hello. Who else is with us? Mog, hello. May today be a more entertaining
After the carnage, more carnage? Guptill and Munro will certainly hope so. New Zealand chasing 242 for what would be their record T20 international chase to level the series. Martin Guptill starts with a cover drive straight to mid-off. There is no run.
So some jingles. This man's banning.
This little piggy wins a market, and this little piggy stayed at home. Martin Guptill.
This man's bowling.
What's his distinguishing feature?
In comes the Demon Boy Child, left arm over the wicket. A flash from Martin Guptill trying to drive over the top of the offside field, beaten on the outside edge. Through to Sam Billings it goes. There is no run. Sam Curran's opening the bowling, I think, in every game.
He has.
We have a slip in place, a short third man, backward point, cover set right back on the ring and mid-off as well. The men back are at long on and deep square leg. We're at a mid-wicket and a short fine leg. Curran going to try and angle this across the powerful right-hander Martin Guptill. That's a short ball which zips off the wicket, more zip than you usually get from Sam Curran. This pitch has definitely quickened up after the first few overs. That one beat Guptill and through to Sam Billings it goes at chest height. There is no run. I'm Nakul Mpande taking you through the first 5 overs of the New Zealand chase. You're listening to Guerrilla Cricket's coverage of England's tour of New Zealand, the 4th T20 International. New Zealand lead the series 2-1, but will have to go some to level the series. That voice to my right was Nigel the Bear Walker. Playing your jingles and reading your tweets and social media messages. To my left is Jason G. Hiscock. Guptill tries to pull Sam Curran. It thuds into, I think, his shoulder, and they come through for a leg by. So New Zealand underway, not off the bat, but underway they are, 1 for no loss. Bringing Guptill's left-handed opening partner on to strike. Will be eyeing up that short leg side boundary, but needs a score for New Zealand. Hasn't had one in a little while. Colin Munro has a fearsome T20 international record, but this would be his best. It's a pull ball down the leg side, particularly with short, fine leg. Lewis Gregory had no chance. Half volley outside leg stump put away by Munro for 4.
2 + 2 is a man.
Yeah, he's got a fearsome. He's never really done anything when I've seen him against England, I have to say.
No. And of course, no surprise from Jay Grover for you as Munro comes to the wicket.
Who's that weirdo?
Who's that weirdo?
Who's that weirdo indeed?
The next year says, is it time to try Milan and test again, Rohit style?
I mean, not as an opener, but he's probably in the conversation. That's a lovely shot by Colin Munro, more known for his powerful pickups over the leg side, but that was pitched up and just eased through the leg side. Brother Tom doing a bit of recovery work. That's the longest part of the ground, and so it just pulls up short of the rope. 3 runs to Colin Munro. He's on 7 off 2 in New Zealand's start with 8 for no loss off the first over.
Some shout outs to the people on Crick Tracker, Wahid Mirzi, Usman Ali Muawiyah, Akash Nair, Tayeb Aslam and Krishten Du. Welcome to you all.
Welcome to you all, indeed.
Colin Munro has 3 T20 international hundreds, 1 against Bangladesh, 1 against India, and 1 against the West Indies. I think he's the only one. Only he and Rohit Sharma have more than 2. Rohit has 4 in this format. Munro has 3. Sorry, Glenn Maxwell also has 3. It is double Curran to begin proceedings for England with the ball, as it has been for most of the series. Tom Curran obviously got a rest at Wellington.
The most effectual top cat, who's intellectual, close friends get to quality see.
So to Colin Munro, we got sort of 2 short third men. Really a point set right back on the cover ring, an extra cover about halfway between batter, an extra cover ring, and a mid-off. Short fine leg is up in the circle. Imagine we have a man back at deep square leg. Decent start from Tom Curran. Fully shown off stump, driven by Colin Munro, and Davin Milan slides round to his left of field at mid-off. There is no run. What a knock it was by Davin Milan, England's second T20 international 100 and the fastest by some distance. 48 balls for his ton for Davin Milan. 103 not out. He finished off 51 balls, I think that was. I'll just look up exactly what it was. Martin Guptill on strike as Tom Curran comes in right arm over the wicket. Charges in up to the wicket now and bowls. Guptill tries to loft this, but not quite sure why he was trying to loft that with long on back. Safe shot because long on was back. It just drops on the edge of the 30-yard circle. They come through for a single.
Bailed out of that, really. I mean, you decide to go over him on the boundary, or you could just hit it along the floor. You didn't even need to hit it in the air.
Not really. Davin Milan 103 out of 51 balls. Magical partnership between him and Owen Morgan. England's highest in T20 internationals by some distance. The men back for Colin Munro are at deep backward square and deep mid-wicket, which makes sense given his predilection for the offside. Sets up in his low, crouching stance. Short ball into the body from Tom Curran. Nicely played by Munro. Just helped it past Matt Parkinson at short line leg for 4.
Got a line there all wrong, didn't he? I don't mind the short stuff, or shortish. But I think on this pitch it's bloody important to get your line right, isn't it? Because anything off line is going to be picked up square either side, which is a short boundaries. You've got to bowl. If you're going to bowl straight, I think you've got to bowl reasonably full. The drive is on in. They've got so many runs to play with. I don't think there's a problem there.
Curran tighter to off stump this line, a much better line. Nudged down into the offside by Colin Munro. Johnny Bairstow fields a backward point. They come through for a single. I think if you're going short, it's got to be in at the body.
Yeah. Well, straight, yeah, pretty much. You can't afford to give any width here at all with the short boundaries either side, as the Kiwis found out bowling to us.
Yeah, to Morgan and Milan. And I think a variety is going to be really important. Tom Curran has those variations, that ability to not be predictable, as does Pat Brown, who we'll see later. That's a length delivery outside off stump. Guptill stands up tall and tries to flay this through the offside. Comes slightly off the toe end of the bat to Davin Milan. There is no run. He rehearses the shot and tries to rehearses going over the top of point, which I think might have been a better option. There is no run.
Variations in pace will be important as well.
Yeah, massively. It's going to be interesting to see how England use Matt Parkinson. Got quite well for his 2 overs off for 14 in Nelson. Jason is tickled. Usually Tony's tickled, but Jason is tickled. Deep square leg and long on back. Guptill pushes this into the offside and takes the quick single. 8 runs off of Tom Curran's first over. New Zealand going in exactly 8 and over 16 for no loss.
Jay Grover says, I've never seen the Bears sort his rig out before. It's basically a vaping smack ritual.
Yeah.
And then Spicy Golden Duck says, a Curran at each end. Imagine that.
Seen that a couple of times. I saw it in the first 2 T20 internationals.
Well, it's what they do for Surrey.
Sorry, in the first T20 international. I'm not sure about the third. I wasn't in for that game. I can't remember who they opened with. But
I think TC didn't play in the third.
No, he didn't play in the second.
TC didn't play the second. Did Saqib Mahmood open in the third game?
No, Saqib Mahmood is always...
No, he was always first change.
But England have used double Curran. It is Sam Bowles, a horrible leg side wide, and the umpire spreads the wings.
I'll be play it cool here. So much to play with. You don't really. You've got to believe you're going to win from here, surely.
England did go double Curran in Nelson. So 3 out of 4. In comes Sam Curran. Leg delivery picked up by Martin Guptill. Loves that pick-up pull shot, and it thumps into one of the empty seats in that stand. 6 runs. Again, nothing wrong with going short, but maybe at Sam Curran's pace you have to be a little bit cleverer than that. Maybe bowl slower, shorter balls, because that was just an easy pick-up for Martin Guptill.
Yeah, it was just a length ball asking to be hit.
Yeah, got up about waist height, and Martin Guptill was not going to miss out. What'll Sam Curran come back with? Left arm over the wicket. Goes a little bit fuller, and Martin Guptill flays him behind square. Tom Banton comes around from deep square leg to field, keeps them to a single. New Zealand 24 for no loss.
That's a good start. Nearly out with a
getting
break.
off to a much better start than England did.
Yep. But this is the thing. England are going to have to, they get 4 wickets in this innings. I reckon they'll win.
Yeah, no Jimmy Neesham for New Zealand, taken ill just before the start of the game. Daryl Mitchell's come in. Colin I think a lot's going to rest on the top four. Guptill, Munro, Seifert and Grondom really are their power hitters. Then we're into slightly more accumulative guys in Taylor and Mitchell. This is back of a length from Sam Curran, tight into the body of Colin Munro. Got to be careful not to stray onto the pads of Munro. He's punishing through square leg and mid-wicket. There is no run.
Yeah, I think if England get to see Ross Taylor, we've probably done the most breaking the back of the wind.
Yeah, Taylor batted well in Wellington, but this is a very different ask.
It's the runs he doesn't get through running as well.
Well, quite, and he's never been a quick scorer. His T20 strike rate is not at all quick. Length delivery, Munro goes down the ground over the top of mid-on, recognising where the fielders were not, over the top of mid-on for 4.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Another length delivery, another one easily picked up, another boundary.
Jake Over says, I've got the exercise bike. Getting a vape is the second stage on my bare, healthy living odyssey.
Well, it's better than smoking.
95% better, at least.
Well, that's what they say here. Of course, in the States, they're saying different things, aren't they?
I think that's more to do with the...
THC and weed smoking vapes. True, but...
In comes Sam Curran, a good short ball this time, a slower bouncer.
Come on!
Has been adjudged to have just looped over Colin Munro's head and has been given a wide for height. I'd like to see that from square on.
I think that's a bit harsh. Yeah, maybe.
It's cleared Colin Munro's head by quite some distance. They always look like they're lower from front on. Sam Curran's gone for 13 off this over so far. Long on goes back, deep mid-wicket comes up, so Curran's got to be careful to make sure that he pitches this up. He does pitch this up, and it's driven straight by Colin Munro, but yes, long on does come around. Tom Curran cuts this off. Good work from Sam Curran, bowling to his field. They come through 4-2. Colin Munro's got off to his first start of the series, really, 19 off 8.
Indeed. And that could be ominous, but he's got to keep going. It's still below the rate.
It is Chris Jordan chatting to Sam Curran. He's been giving, in the first 2 T20s, it was very obvious that he was giving all of England's young bowlers some advice. England's most experienced T20 bowler. I think that he's now gone back on the long on boundary because I think that's where Colin Munro's going to hit it, and he's one of England's best fielders. That's nicely played by Colin Munro. Matt Parkinson has a long chase from short third man. He will haul this in. Munro tried to just nudge it down to the third man boundary. Johnny Bairstow accompanies young Matt Parkinson to the boundary, flings the ball back in. 3 runs to 3 runs to Colin Munro. He'll nick the strike. He's been on strike through that entire over, pretty much, apart from not quite off the got to face the first 3 balls, but Munro nicks the strike, and after 3 overs, New Zealand 34 for no loss.
That Sam Harris dude looks very much like a Mitchell Marsh with big jug ears.
He does have a long face, doesn't he? This is Sky New Zealand's on-field reporter, who we're having a look at.
Well, 34 for none after 3 is a good start, but it's below the rate. And there's only 2 men out. So it's a big ask here for the Kiwis.
England break up the Curran duopoly and bring on their most experienced T20 bowler.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh.
In comes Jordan, short and wide outside off stump. To a tightly packed offside field, and Munro tries to whip this away through the covers, but finds only short extra cover, who almost ran Martin Guptill out with the throw from the edge of the circle. Guptill dawdling a little bit as he tried to get back into his crease, but the throw missed. There is no run. I think better for England to go across Colin Munro and try and get him to hit to the offside. The men back are at deep point and deep square leg, so I don't think Jordan's going to be pitching too many in Munro's half. This is again angled across Colin Munro. He just opens the face and angles this out to Pat Brown on the deep point boundary, who sends in a very good throw right over the top of the stumps, bringing Guptill back onto strike. I think Jordan was bowling to get Munro off strike and has done so.
Joe Gover's come back to you, Barry. He says, a THC vape powered by frantic pedalling off on an exercise bike could be a win-win.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for your head, I'll give you that. Never tried a THC vape. Well, maybe I have actually, but doesn't really float my boat.
Guptill on strike 10 off 9. It's been rather starved of strike, but it doesn't matter because he's absolutely nailed that over mid-wicket. His second leg side 6 picked up and punished.
If Guptill gets going, then there's no room on this pitch at
No,
all.
not
Again,
at all.
length. Not a short delivery like the one that Sam Curran bowled, but that was a genuine length delivery right in the middle of the slot and a front foot pull over mid-wicket from Martin Guptill. This isn't a particularly big ground square of the wicket, but there aren't many boundaries in the world big enough to hold Martin Guptill.
It's all those long levers.
Yeah, such a clean hitter of the ball, glorious to watch. When he's going well, in comes Jordan. What'll he come back with? Short outside off stump. He does go over the offside this time as he practiced a few overs ago. That's a wonderful shot. He's smashed that for 6 over point and almost cleared the roof.
You came out of your hair and into my zone. Now it's up in the stands. It's a 6. It's beautiful and it's mine.
That's
You
gone
think?
over the roof.
Jesus
What a
Christ.
shot from Martin Guptill. That was tight to off stump as well. He backed away outside leg stump to give himself the room. We saw him practicing that shot earlier, a sort of shadow bat, right off the middle of the middle, and off the front foot, he smashed Chris Jordan over the roof at deep point for 6. Wonderful hitting.
That was crazy hitting.
Wonderful hitting, not great bowling. If you go bowl short, not in the slot.
Yeah.
I mean, that was waist high. It's a perfect height to really flash a bat at it.
That's a full delivery from Chris Jordan. A little bit of swing, actually. Pretty much a Yorker. Guptill just digs this out into the covers. They come through for a single. I'll give Jordan a little bit more credit. The line wasn't... the line shouldn't have enabled Guptill to be able to hit that ball where he did. So I'm giving that one to Martin Guptill, frankly. 23 off 12, Munro 23 off 11, matching each other stroke for stroke. England, after a decent first couple of overs, starting to feel the heat. New Zealand 48 for no loss, still 1 ball left of the 4th over. Colin Munro on strike. Chris Jordan has gone for 14 off the first 5 balls of this over. Very good work from Johnny Bairstow at short fine leg. Leg stump Yorker, which Munro tried to clip round the corner, but Bairstow, one of England's best fielders, dived away to his right to save 3 runs. After 4 overs, New Zealand 49 for no loss and slightly above the rate.
And right on cue, Durbanoki joins us and says, I said we were doomed.
There's a long way to go. Couple of wickets to change everything.
Especially if it's Guptill.
Yeah. Well, you get these 2 out, yeah. De Grandhomme was batted well throughout the series and has looked dangerous without going on to get the big score.
Tim Seifert's a powerful player, can hit all round the ground.
Again, he hasn't done much though, has he? He's not been one who's put anything together so far this series.
No, had a brilliant series. A few flashes, but does have power and good T20 international scores. Smashed better than runner ball 84 against India earlier in the year. Curran replacing Curran, Tom replacing Sam. Full toss, which Munro probably feel he missed out on. Just nudges it to t'other Curran at mid-off. They come through for a single. Get a jingle in for TC.
Sorry.
The most effectual top cat, whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC.
Tom Curran, number 8 of his first over, has been very impressive, I think, for England at the top of the order. Can be used as a death bowler later in the innings. England haven't really used him as such. Into Martin Guptill. Curran in short delivery, which Guptill doesn't get all of, but with no one at mid-wicket, even with one hand on the bat, Martin Guptill picks up 4. I think that was a slower ball bouncer from Tom Curran, and it did fox Martin Guptill, but with that strong top hand of his and no one at deep mid-wicket. All he had to do was get it up over the man, and he had plenty of time to do that. 1 bounce 4.
Indeed. The kids in the crowd are happy.
So an absolute run fest today. After a sluggish start, low full toss clipped straight to Davin Malan, who takes it comfortably at throat height. Tom Curran has the danger man. He's been one of England's best bowlers through the series, and he's got another wicket. Martin Guptill is gone for 27 off 14. New Zealand 54 for 1.
After you've gone.
Hit really hard by Martin Guptill right off the middle. But could not have picked out Davin Malan more perfectly if he tried, and Guptill cannot believe what he's just done. Tom Curran has the breakthrough.
That's the way it goes. Well, that's important for England. 27 of 14, strike rate of 192.9. That was a good little innings by Guptill, but so many runs to go, you've got to go on. Next man in.
Next ESS. Funny that one of England's worst keepers is one of their best fielders.
That's true. It's true. You lose a lot when Johnny Bairstow's not in the field.
Indeed. Well, next man is this man.
Tim, he's not so Tim. Tim, he works out at the gym. 100 runs from 40 balls. Not gonna let the run rate stall. Tim, it's worth watching him.
Considering that came off the toe of the bat, he absolutely nailed that.
Yeah, he did.
Well, they had the middles pretty low on the bat, so I think it came right out of that sort of the lowest part of the middle. But you're right, he absolutely timed it beautifully. Just failed to miss the fielder. Seifert facing up to his first ball from Tom Curran. He drives into the offside, takes the quick single up to Chris Jordan. Chris Jordan's got a bullet arm and it hits the stumps, but Munro and Seifert were decisive with their calling, and Seifert was home pretty comfortably off the mark with a single.
I think we can get Munro now. This game will change dramatically, one feels. And we'll have a change in a couple of balls. Napier will take a little scoot out, and Steve will come in. I'll move across to there. And we shall mosey on.
As the
sun has come up.
Sun rises over Sydenham as the sky deepens and purples over Napier. As glorious sunset colours we're seeing in Hawke's Bay tonight. Back of a length and nudged by Munro into the leg side, out to the man on the deep square leg boundary. Tom Curran bowling well to his field here. Impressive from the young man. Another one who, along with Chris Jordan, has in the last few years made a good case for himself to be in England's T20 World Cup plans.
Well, this is his best format by far.
Yes, it is. I'm sure he's got all the skills that you need as a bowler at any stage of the innings. Tom Curran, last ball of the fifth over, last ball of my little spell, is thumped by Tim Seifert, but straight out to Tom Banton on the deep square leg boundary. They come through for a single. So 8 runs off the over and a wicket. Good stuff from Tom Curran, 1 for 16 off his 2. And New Zealand, after 5 overs, are 57 for 1. Just shy of the required run rate, but should have a good game in the offing.
Alternative cricket commentary, bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are Gorillas. We need your patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Well, New Zealand are far ahead of where England were. First 5, we had 31 for 1. Although the next over did go for 20, didn't it? So 57 for 1 after 5 are the Kiwis, chasing 241. 242 is a win. Seifert is going to face up to Chris Jordan, who went 15 off his first over. First ball is a little bit slower, 109. Good slower ball, and Seifert can only chip it up to Bairstow, who's up inside the ring. He'll get himself a single. 1 roll come on strike, 26 off 14. 4 fours and 3 sixes already. And the sun sets here, it's looking beautiful out there. in Kiwi land as the sun rises, and it's a beautiful blue sky actually down here in South London. Bloody cold here though.
Very, very cold, thank you.
Jordan is at the end of his run. And ready to bowl to Monroe, who's got his legs apart. Pretty square on. Another slower ball, I think. Yeah, decent ball. And Monroe can only defend it out to cover, and there is no run.
Did you see the message that Jay has got his bike?
Yes, I did, yeah. He's wanted to become a little bear.
And a THC vape.
Well,
does that mean anything?
Yes. I don't have a THC.
And Durban Oak has just tipped in with, I said we were doomed.
Yeah, I know you said you were doomed, but not. What's going on here? We've lost the picture.
Leah suggesting that funny that one of England's worst keepers is one of their best fielders.
I think it was worked into the leg side, but did they go for a run?
They did, and I think
Yeah,
that.
No, I don't think they did. There was 2 dot balls. I think that's another dot ball, right? Was Monroe was on strike previous ball? He's still on strike now, unless they got back for 2, which is possible. I don't know what happened there. The TV went blank. We lost the picture from New Zealand,
but we're back.
But we are back. And Monroe is facing up to Jordan, who comes in 4th ball of the over. It's clipped nicely, but straight out to mid-wicket. Oh, decent throw.
Oh, and Monroe absolutely cleaned out Jordan, and that's going to hurt.
And that is going to hurt. He barged him in the back, and that doesn't look particularly pleasant. Monroe came charging down, barged over Jordan in his back. He's holding his lower part of his back. Decent throw. If it had hit, he'd have been out. Oh dear Christ, he's taking him out. All black styling there.
Absolutely, yes. It's a wrong without putting.
Well, he did put his arms around him. He'd have been sent off.
That's a Maori That's a Maori sidestep.
Yeah, he'd have. He cleaned him out.
Even though you're not supposed to say that anymore.
No. Decent barge, and
anyway,
doesn't look happy. And
he had absolutely no need to
a few
run that line, because
you should have gone the other way, shouldn't you?
He could have been He was either going to hit the stumps or not hit the stumps with the throw.
Yeah.
He was never in any danger of getting in the way of it. There's no need to run a line that puts him in danger with
he's
Jordan.
He's a strong boy, Jordan.
He is a strong boy. He's at the end of his run. Only 2 off the over so far. It's a good over by Jordan. He's up to the crease now. Bowls into the pads. He's gone straight up in the air. Is there going to be another one underneath it? There should be. Yeah, there is.
Tom Curran.
He's got a wicket. He's caught the next one. It's a slower ball angled in at the legs, and Seifert has done nothing really this series, and has done nothing here. He's gone to clip that over the leg side, but he's got through a shot too early. Big leading edge. It's gone straight up in the air. It's caught by Tom Curran down. I think so far outside the leg stump. He's just trying to turn his wrists on it really, but it was threw his shot way too early, and it's probably 10 yards inside the 30-yard circle, where it's caught by Tom Curran, and England have their second wicket, and Jordan looks happy.
While we're watching Seifert depart, a little message from Leah here. I had a teacher named Seifert. Amazing man, was a Jesuit and a UN special negotiator. Knew Rabin, Arafat and Pol Pot. there's a little gathering.
All the dictators. Well, it brings this man to the crease, so we better get his jingle in now, because it's quite a long one.
I turned to look, but I was gone. I cannot see my own reflection now. My body's gone, my face is gone.
Jordan into Monroe. Ooh, follows that. Is that going to be given as a wide? It is given as a wide. It's thrown up too wide. And Jordan has bowled a clever over there. I think there was 3 or 4 slower balls that over. He never really.
Yep, he's Dermot Reeved the over.
Well, he has indeed, yeah. It's always a good one to bowl. Well, Monroe's still facing up. Last ball of the over, 60 for 2. Dragged it back there, England. And not particularly quick either. 111 kVH. Everything is taken pace off by Jordan. Driven by Monroe out to the cover boundary. And he will only get a single. So 4 off that over, plus the wicket. Good over for England. 61 for 2.
Isn't hindsight a wonderful thing? Armchair Cricket Podcast tweeted, still a decent hitter in Seifert to replace Gupta.
Yeah.
That hasn't worked.
There was a decent hitter in de Grandhomme to replace Seifert.
Oh well.
But we do get to the law of diminishing returns eventually.
Indeed. New Zealand require 12.9 and over. Yeah, beautiful
sun
sky.
setting in Napier.
Although,
Sky
as we all know, that's pollution, isn't it, that makes the sky orange?
It's an optical illusion.
Leah now arguing, in what world was Rabin a dictator?
Rabin? No, he wasn't a dictator, that's true. Well, we're going to see... are we at the power play now? Sixth over,
six
isn't it?
gone,
Yeah.
yes.
So 2 more men out. And we are going to see the first go at leg spin from England. Matt Parkinson, I thought, bowled pretty well. The top wicket-taking leg spinner in English T20 for the last 2 seasons in a row. Is that correct? Am I correct?
Knuckles the man for that.
He is indeed, but I'm sure I read that stat somewhere. Yeah, maybe it's only the last season. First ball is just plonked out towards the cover boundary by Munro off the back foot.
It's still a good record to have.
Yeah, it is a good record to have. As I said, I did like him. I like the fact that he wasn't afraid to give it air, didn't bowl flat. I didn't see it googly.
Not afraid to bowl slow as well.
Yeah.
No, to hold it back.
Yeah.
Which I think could be quite handy.
Indeed.
Jay tweets to say, you know my feelings about de Grandhomme. He is dead to me until he returns to the fold.
Well, he's going to face up to Parkinson. It's his first ball, and he just plays it back down the ground to mid-long on.
Good ball, good flight, wasn't it?
Indeed.
Good length.
Haven't seen Pat Brown yet bowl. Pat Brown.
Well, I think they're worried about the pace and given the short boundaries.
Well, yeah, but he's got
a bit of tap in the last one.
He's got to bowl at some point. When he bowled better than Mahmood, and I don't know if he's a death bowler or not, tossed up and nearly yorks himself to Monroe as he comes down the track to that. Can only bunt it up as far as mid-off. He's up inside the circle for him. And de Grandhomme will take strike again. 3 singles off the first 3 balls of this over. Not enough. Only at least 2 a ball for the rest of the innings, which is, well, in fact, that's not enough. Down the track comes de Grandhomme, and that has gone long. Back over the sight screen, and it's going to be the first 6 of his innings. Moves on to 7 off 2.
I suppose basically it's the
Yes, Steve.
That's the chasing team. I think you need to hit something like a 6 every single over.
Yeah, basically.
So that you can then just get the 1s and 2s at the rest of the over.
Well, so you still, a 6 and 5 singles doesn't get it, does it? I mean, you still got to get.
But at least it keeps you with the rate, doesn't it? Rather than
close
down,
to anyway. Yeah. Well, he's come down the track again, and he's gone again. Has he got all of that?
He has.
No, he hasn't. He has not got all of that. And de Grandhomme has gone. Robinson has got a wicket. It was still it's one of the corners, which is obviously one of the longest parts of the ground. Is that Pat Brown? Who's that?
Who's that weirdo?
Who's that? Well, I was going to say who's that weirdo, but it's a very young-looking man. But
Not
it doesn't
Gilbert,
look like
is it?
Pat Brown.
Is it Gilbert?
Maybe it's yeah.
He's blonder, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ben,
It's a good catch down there. Anyway, he hasn't got the legs on it. As de Grandhomme, he's hit it very vertical, and he's gone. And Parkinson, has a wicket. Well, this is where things could become quite tricky for New Zealand, as the new batsman is it's Ross Taylor. Strike rate of 122 throughout his T20 career, which is nowhere near enough. He can hit it long, but he's getting a little bit long in the tooth himself. And, it's not the quickest between the wickets either.
A little physics lesson from Testy Test. Not an illusion, rally scattering. When the sun is high in the sky, its light has a lot less atmosphere to push through than when it is at low angle over the horizon in the evening.
This is true. But it's also to do with the light filtering particles, I presume.
He started off well.
Monroe has just
dear.
lonked that one. 2 in 2 for Parkinson. Monroe has tried to smash that out of the ground on the leg side. He hasn't got enough of it. He's hit it to a longer part of the ground as well, out towards deep straightish mid wicket, and he's been caught on the boundary. Parkinson has 2 in 2. New Zealand in all sorts of trouble here.
Now you're gone.
That's Pat Brown. And England must be feeling happier about their day's work already. 70 for 4, and the wheels are coming off. It's not surprising when you
fail fast.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it is a question you can't. I mean, there is no point in stopping, is there? I mean, it's only a T20. You're either going to win it or lose it, and these things can go for you very quickly indeed. Daryl Mitchell will be the new man.
Son of an old black funny and peep show wrote that book. Oh, Daryl, not David Mitchell.
Interesting fact from Jay here. Sorry, this is irrelevant, but police in the UK can legally break into any person's house under the Bees Act 1980 if they suspect it contains foreign bees.
Really? No, that is.
He's actually given the reference legislation.gov.uk.
Fucking hell. Why are you looking that up, Jay? Why are you looking that up? 70 for 4 New Zealand. Ross Taylor yet to get off the mark. Daryl Mitchell yet to get off the mark. In fact, neither have faced a ball yet. Taylor's going to face his first ball. Pat Brown is coming into the attack, and he's going to bowl to Ross Taylor, who clips that sweetly enough, but out towards all on the deck.
The nurdling Taylor.
The nurdling Taylor. Nurdles are not going to be enough, young man. And Mitchell will face his first ball. It's like he's taking off stump guard, so he's obviously going to try and work everything into the leg side.
It's surprising how many professional cricketers do take a stand that's far more to the offside than
the
recreational cricketers do.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It's just backing their eye, I think.
Yeah, I would presume so. I mean, a lot of them.
And recognising that there's more opportunities to work the ball to the leg side if you move further across.
Bottom hand is stronger, etc., etc. Pat Brown is in. He's bowling to Mitchell. He bowls a wide down the leg side first ball. And
don't give him runs, Pat.
Yeah. Looks so young, doesn't he?
So he sends you a message. Don't question my methods, Nigel.
Indeed. 72 for 4 in 7.1 overs. And two batsmen who have yet to do much at all. Pat Brown in, and a big heave attempt by Mitchell. Gets nothing on it, and it goes through the billings, and there's no run.
Run rate climbing, so that's about 13 or 14, 13.4 and over now.
Already. Yeah, it's very difficult to get back once it goes. Awful effort here to get them over the line. You can't see it happening.
Especially consistently over 13 overs. Wow.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, when we saw what England did the other day, when still having to go along at 8 and over, even though they were batting quite well. Wickets really screw it all up for you. Pat Brown is in. It's full. It's on the pads. It's clipped for a single out to deep mid wicket.
A bit too leg side, didn't he, Mr. Bryan?
Well, he can get, I mean, if he bowls full and on the legs, as long as they don't pick it up, and it's only ever going to be a single, isn't it? And occasionally might find a gap, but I presume it's a fielder there is
just gets that one to squeeze
one at
just
square,
past the
one reasonably straight, and then someone at wide, long on as well. You know, you've got to pick the gap, but the natural angle will take it out towards a straightish deep.
Still looks about 15, doesn't it?
Yeah. Pat Brown is in, and that's on the off stump, decent pace, and
a surprising nurdle from Taylor.
A surprising nurdle from Taylor, square on the offside. 2 of 2.
At least it was off the outside edge.
Yeah, outside half the back, not near the splice. And we get another single.
One thing about Pat Brown is, because he's got the height, he can vary his length quite easily. It's not necessarily that easy to pick up out of the hand as a result, and that gives him lots of opportunities to to get cheap deliveries.
Yeah. Well, he's in. That's full. I think that's a slower ball.
It was,
yeah. Bit
on the
floaty,
pads
full,
again.
but on the pads again, and just clipped out to deep with wickets, but it's not enough. Who does Pat Brown, what county does he play for?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, okay. I'm sure I've heard that before this series, but
he's been in the last...
Doesn't stick, does it?
No. Well, of course, the first night we were in here, we were all completely smashed, weren't we?
No.
I don't remember much of that.
Surely
night.
some mistake.
I think I slept through most of it.
Yeah, you slept through a fair bit. I was incoherent by the
Comfortable
end of
sofas in the green room.
Pat Brown in. Last ball's another wide. It's not the last ball of the over. It doesn't matter. It's 1, 4, 5, 6 off the over so far. 1 ball to come. Even a 6 now will keep him under a rate. As long as he doesn't bowl another wide or is on no ball.
Wide.
Still been a relatively good over.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. In T20 terms.
Well, in the context of the match as
well,
well,
it's gone for a single or an extra.
Brown at the end of his run comes in to bowl to Ross Taylor, facing up, and it's full. He clips it out to the deep on the leg side, and it'll just be a 1 run once more. He will retain the strike. New Zealand are 77 for 4 after 8, which isn't enough. Trying an awful lot.
I'd give you some messages, but there aren't any more.
Oh, okay. People just be getting
We'll
up
have to
over
mumble
here.
amongst ourselves.
It's people sort of either falling asleep,
As we watch the ads.
or having breakfast,
Yeah.
or finding
Getting ready
something
for
else
school.
to do.
Important things like that.
Indeed.
Well, that's a hat and a half.
That's part of the Barmy Army for you.
165 runs acquired, 6 wickets. In just 12 overs. So the run rate must be all the way up, about 14. It's probably gone up significantly in that over. And Parkinson will continue. He's on a hat-trick. 2 off the last 2 balls of his last over.
Come on, Matty. You
Come
can
on,
do
my
it.
boy.
That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? His second game. Got a wicket.
He's
with
got a slip in, I think.
Did he get a wicket? He got a wicket his first over.
Yeah, but he does have a slip in.
He does indeed. Well, he might as well give it some air. And see if he can tonk it.
Is it best?
Parkinson, he pulls out of his run up. Ball slipped in his hands. I don't know how hot it is down there.
It was a nice
Knacker
20
will find
degrees
out
on
was it
Tuesday, but I can't. It'd be
They said it was
something
quite,
less than that
I
today,
think
I
they were saying it
imagine.
was quite warm down there. I don't know how hot it gets in New Zealand. It's pretty similar climate to here, isn't it? I imagine mid-20s is positively baking for the Kiwis.
Not the 35 and 40 that poor Jez is suffering today.
Well, down the track, it's a bit too short, angled in at leg stump. Taylor came down the track to start with.
A disappointing hat-trick ball, that one.
It
wasn't
was.
God.
Yeah.
Taylor nurdles to the leg side, shocker.
Yes.
Out towards deep square leg and gets himself a single. And, this innings is going nowhere fast, considering what they need. Parkinson at the end of his run.
I think he might get more than 2 overs this time.
There's a little chat in the middle. I presume they're going, well,
May as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb.
well, one of us has got to go large pretty quick. And that's tossed up. Beautiful delivery. 73.7 kph.
Was that the Google?
I don't know.
It sort of came back in. He bowled it from wide of the stumps. And it kept on coming towards the stumps. So I wondered whether it was the Google.
Mitchell couldn't do anything with it anyway. Could only defend it back to the bowler. Again, it's given some air. That's gone up a long way. Has it gone far enough? No, it hasn't. There should be someone underneath it. It's Chris Jordan. He's got a safe pair of hands. Parkinson's got 3 for 10 in 1.3 overs. He's having a field day. Should have bowled 4 overs the other day.
You said so.
5. I
You
did say the
You
other
did.
day. Yeah, he should have done. 78 for 5 on New Zealand, and they're in all sorts of trouble. I mean, there's not a lot New Zealand could do.
He's got to go for it, didn't he?
Yeah,
It was there to be hit, didn't it?
It's scoreboard pressure, and it's also showing just how badly New Zealand bowlers bowled.
Yes, true.
Well, Sodhi in particular,
Well,
for
Sodhi
49
got-
of
yeah,
his 4,
yes.
didn't he?
No, he didn't. I got bowled 4.
Parkinson's
He
one
bowled
for
3, didn't he?
He bowled 3 overs for 49.
3 overs.
In comparison to Matt Parkinson, and Sodhi's a much more experienced international player.
Indeed.
But
Who's
he
got-
was the top wicket taker in T20 in the domestic game last season.
Who?
Parkinson.
Yeah, no, we're talking about. I thought we were talking about Sodhi then. Well, Mitchell Santner comes to the wicket. 5 wickets down. So just carry on.
Santner baby, get some drift into the pads for me. Been an awful good Kiwi. Santner baby, and dart them in quickly tonight.
That's the fielder you don't want to see running towards the ball, is it? When it's in the
No,
air? He's Chris Jordan.
He's a very solid fielder.
Mog just messages to say, can't talk. Still cunningly crafting jingles for the Papua New Guinea squad.
What?
Wow, that's getting ahead of time.
I look forward to listening to that.
Very much getting ahead of time.
Given that's almost a year until the World T20.
Indeed. Tossed up. Smash! That's a good
Good
shot.
shot.
Ross Taylor finally gets something that's not a single. Slog swept 6. Pretty flat too. Swings him. Indeed.
Maximum.
That's a good shot.
It's best his figures up a little bit now.
Yeah, well, 3 for 16. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Oh, that's LBW. That's got to be out.
Close.
Surely.
I think that might just go over the top.
You reckon? I don't think it's going over the top. I'll be reviewing that. I thought that was pretty.
Billings thinks it's going over the top. He's giving the up and down sign.
I'd be surprised if that's going over the top. It's not the bounces the tracks. Tossed up again. Oh, nearly a great catch by the man in at short mid wicket. Slapped into the leg side by Taylor. I'm sure he palmed it down into the ground.
There's a chance every other ball here.
Yeah, there is. Well, they've got to keep going, isn't it? There's a skipper there. Morgan at short mid wicket. He's having a good day. And that ends the over with a single. Ross Taylor will retain the strike. I'll tell you what the score is, but they come to an after.
Marpelin J says, that's the unofficial and obviously unpaid sofa historian. Part of the index is now Hiscock Jason fart, snore, sleep.
What?
I don't know. Devon Oak says, I don't recognise
He's
half
got
of
me
these
down to a
England
T there,
players.
hasn't he? Fart, stores and sleeps.
Yes.
Well, England were only 73 for 2, but the Kiwis 85 for 5. And at this point, our run rate was only 8.11, but it took off shortly after here.
Devon Oak finishes off, I'm feeling as informed as Nick Knight.
Pat Brown in, clipped nicely by Ross Taylor. Now towards deep fine leg, good bit of fielding by
Sam Curran.
Is it Sam down there? Yeah, Sam Curran. And Taylor gets back for 2. That was a really good attempt. Oh, just the fingertips by Owen Morgan the previous over. And, Parkinson must be thinking he's going to get a wicket with every ball.
Jay saying, that is why Mog operates on a level above us mere woebegone drones. He's a man with vision.
That is true. That is very true. Pat Brown is to second over, second ball. Short.
Ooh, good shot.
Good shot. Pulled from above his head by Taylor. Almost a vertical periscope bat.
More of a tennis smash, that wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Could only get it down to deep square leg or get a single. Now let's have a look at that then.
Listen.
It was hitting, I told you. Fucking hell, I was dead right, mate. I'd have reviewed that. And there's no point not reviewing it as well, for crying out loud. It was Ross Taylor, maybe the only man possibly left who could do anything.
No, I think Mitchell Santner might be the only man left possibly.
Well, possibly, yeah. Well, they got no Jimmy Neesham, has he? He's ill today. So
he would have been useful in this circumstance.
Yeah, Ross Taylor's got away with one there. Santner is going to face up to Brown, who comes around the wicket to him. Into his pads, and he works it round on the bounce to the man down at long leg.
Milan,
and David Milan down there. He'll get himself
the hero.
We will have a little switcheroo at the end of this over.
It still looks out, doesn't it?
It still looks
on
out.
replay after replay.
When it hit him, I'd have been. I don't know why. Maybe because he's new to the seed team and don't want to use the review up. You only have one review. They're 5 wickets down.
Rather like Banton didn't want to use his, did he?
Yeah. Well, I suppose if you're not used to using it either, you certainly don't get them in the T20s and the Blast here. And a little bit of a change in the field.
Knackle ready to pounce.
Someone's gone out deep with wicket. And on the 45, hardly anyone inside the circle on the leg side. Move that screen out of the way of the TV.
Yeah.
Pat Brown comes in to bowl to Taylor. who hits that in the air. Has he got
That's a
enough
good
on that? He should
slap.
have done. Yeah. Oh no, he hasn't.
No!
Oh, and he just. I thought he was going to walk over. Plucked out the
That was
sky.
so nonchalant.
It was indeed. I thought he was going to walk over the wicket as well. Ross Taylor has now gone. He's tried to hook that into the leg side. Hasn't got enough on it. And it's going to catch down there by... Who was that by?
Banton.
Was it Banton?
With new boys combined there.
Yeah, indeed. Pat Brown gets himself in on the wickets. It's a decent pick-up, but didn't get the legs on it. Too vertical and not enough length. And yeah, see, I thought he was just going to wander over the thing there. It was like he wasn't watching where the where the boundary rope was, and he might have just trod on it, but he didn't. And New Zealand innings is subsiding massively here. 89 for 6. I really hope they don't go the whole 20 overs. That brings out the skipper, Tim Southey, already. Well, his highest score in T20s is 28 non out.
What's up, Dad? What's cooking? What's up, Dad? Are you looking for birds? Bunny bunting. Duck is gonna hunting.
Tim Southey.
What's up, Dad?
It's only squarer here. It's longer than that other short ground that we had earlier in the series. Santner on the back foot just works it into the leg side. Mid wicket is up inside the circle and just trots around to pick it up and gets himself a single. And the skipper on strike. Presumably Parkinson gets the bowl out here. Haven't done all the hard work. He can get 3 wickets.
Oh, but you think he'll be 5 for chasing, won't he?
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Second international.
Jay just commenting, this is why I fucking hate 2020.
Well, but you know,
Fucking hate. Sorry. Yes.
Big scores are never easy to chase. Pat Brown in and defended in the offside by the skipper. Southey, they get through for a single. Shy at the stumps by Pat Brown on his follow through. No run, ends the over. 6 runs off it and a wicket.
We shall have a full
I mean,
swap
when
around.
when they're chased, they're fun to watch, but I mean, more often than not, it goes wrong, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, we will have a switcheroo. I will have 5 overs off, and Jace will take over from me.
We need your
Alternative cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are gorillas. We need your Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
England are making short shrift of this defence.
Really good from Parkinson.
Parkinson.
That could be out.
Oh, that's just over deep square leg on the sweep. Southey's got all of that, and it's just flown just over the man on the boundary for 6. Good fielder selection there. Lewis Gregory, not the tallest man in the team.
Not the biggest jump either, not the most athletic.
And
going for it.
Southey goes big again with much the same shot, but he's timed that an awful lot better, and it's gone about 15 rows back at deep mid-wicket.
2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row.
I'm going to revise my statement about Santner being the only person who can get them out of the hole here. I think Southey might be the only person
long
who
term
has
he
to-
probably is, but Tim Southey's fun to watch. He does hit the ball very cleanly, as he showed on Test debut all those years ago against England.
And that's a much better ball. That's
Tied him up a bit.
one that came on with the arm, a toppy, if you will. Tucked him up as he was backing away, and he could only punch that out into the offside for no run.
No England bowler has ever taken a T20 international fifer.
That's full on off stump. And
Oh, no!
And Pat Brown has just shelled one of possibly the easiest catches we've seen today.
Oh, England have got the butterfingers-itis that they had in the second
Back
T20
again, yeah.
International. Oh, my Lord. And I think Pat Brown has possibly just denied Matt Parkinson a chance to get that fiver. Went down on both knees, right behind it, and it hit him in the face. The only saving grace was that it didn't go for 4 or 6.
The pimps in the crib, man. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Parkinson still does have 2 balls left to see if he can get that fifer.
Yeah, memories of the second T20 there, wasn't it? It's a horror.
Slow ball outside off stump. Sutton has to wait an age for that. Tries to hit it through square leg and just overpowers it. And it just scuttles out into the leg
It's
side.
not just the pace, it's also, you see the seam's almost vertical when Parkinson releases it. It's going up out the hand, it's looping, it's dipping.
And it's another slow ball.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Lewis Gregory, what are you doing? That tried to be clever and pick it up on the run with one hand. Hasn't got his body anywhere behind it, and the ball has done its usual right turn, Clyde, and beaten him to the boundary.
Way up in the sky, little darling. And if it falls, I'll pick it up. Just pick it up, mate.
Yeah, I understand the commitment to aggressive fielding, but it's not a good look when you run past one-handed. And Matt Parkinson's been slightly, his figures have been spoiled through no fault of his own. A dropped catch that certainly should have had a 4th wicket, and Lewis Gregory's cost him an extra 3 runs. But still, absolutely brilliant from Matt Parkinson. 3 overs. 3 for 35. Of course, I jumped ahead of myself. He's still got an over left.
Yes, I was going to say.
But in the match situation, that is totally unnecessary gambling fielding. And Brown is in. That's full outside off stump. Santner tries to whip it through the leg side. Doesn't quite get on it, but his pads outside the line of the off stump, and it rolls down to third man for a single.
Ravi Nair comments, I have to use reading glasses, so I too fucking hate people with 2020.
Very good. Yeah, Matt Parker still got that 5 for potentially in his side. It's been a pretty good spell from Pat Brown, much more low-key than Parkinson, but he's changed his pace well, as he always does.
The tall Brown comes in, and that's slower.
Caught.
No, you saw it here first. It's a Chris Jordan drop.
Is that actually a drop?
I think he got his fingers to it.
He got his hand to it.
Yeah, I think he got his fingers.
Only Chris Jordan.
He would have been. He would have been about 3 feet off the ground and completely horizontal.
There you go.
We're seeing this now. Jordan's gone one-handed.
Yeah,
Only
tip of
Chris
his
Jordan
fingers.
could have got close to that. I'm not putting that down as a drop, really, because no other fielder would have got close. Wonderful effort from Chris Jordan.
Extremely athletic, wasn't it?
Brown. And that's short, and that's been flogged.
A long way.
Yep. That's probably not the ball to bowl Southey, who's quite expert at hitting balls like that. Deep over square leg for 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
Southey's having fun and games out there.
Yeah.
He's got 3 6s in his, was it 20, 21?
Yeah, he loves that leg side hoik, doesn't he? Yeah, he's 26 off 8 with 1 4 and 3 6s. And if Tim Southey can hit a ball in the air to the leg side, he will.
And much better thinking from Brown. And he's just fallen foul of the tram lines.
Poor lad. Paul Tudor message.
Wide.
Paul Tudor messages in capitals. This has got to be the worst fielding we have ever seen in international cricket. These guys are jokes.
You didn't watch the second T20 International then when England dropped 5 catches.
And then he follows it up with, is this the worst international fielding you have seen? Because it is the worst I have. Such amateurs. Is this what county cricket is about?
Again, no, not even the worst in this series. England's fielding standards are usually incredibly high, so are New Zealand's. It's not the worst I've seen in this series. And
no, I'm going to say that second test. T20 was.
And that's probably going to be another wide as well.
No, I don't think so.
Away with that
he
one.
walked a long way outside off stump, Tim Southey. He's probably 2 stumps outside off stump, so almost the line moves with the batter.
There was another slower ball from Brown, and having got all the way over there, Southey just made no attempt to do anything with it and just watched it go past underneath his bat.
He had a bit of a dab, but it was a bit pathetic.
Again, trying to hit everything to leg, which is pretty much his modus operandi. Good execution from Pat Brown.
Brown coming in, and that's slightly faster. Southey tries to muscle that straight, doesn't really get much of that, and it's collected by the two men on the boundary, and that's only a single. And New Zealand are dying the death of sort of 120 cuts here.
Yeah,
120 for 6.
The target was always going to be steep, and those 3 wickets from Matt Parkinson, really those 2 and 2, pretty much put pay to any chance of New Zealand winning this.
Santner moves across, and Pat Brown sees him and throws the ball down the leg side.
I should come in with Ben Oak's judgmental tweet saying, "Get Brown off, he's shit."
Harsh.
In that sense, I think moving early for Santner actually forced Brown into the error, because I think otherwise he'd have been trying to bowl into his toes.
So Southey is 1 short of his all-time high in T20I.
Good going. Brown. And another one that's exactly the same. It's a carbon copy repeat of the previous ball for another wide.
That is England's 8th wide, I think.
They've been quite profligate in their extras. How many
They have
did
throughout
New
most of
Zealand?
the series.
New Zealand only gave away 8 extras,
8
I
in
think.
total,
Yeah, but 2 were free hits for...
Yes, that's true. Height, no balls.
Brown. And that's a better ball. That's a full toss. And he's going to have to chase it, and he's just beaten him to the boundary.
A better ball in that he doesn't have to bowl it again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Pat Brown eventually gets out of that over, went for 17 off it, as it just seemed to stretch on and on and on into the distance. But New Zealand, 126 for 6 after 12 overs, now need 14 and a half and over.
It was a better idea. It wasn't as well executed as he would have liked.
No, he slightly got the length there wrong, didn't he? Slightly overcooked it.
Now, come on, Matt Parkinson. What can you do in your final over?
Yeah, the record T20 international figures for England are Chris Jordan's 4 for 6 in St Kitts against the West Indies.
Didn't Ravi Bakara get 4 for 11 in one match as well, I think?
Let's just have a look.
Parkinson, slightly short, onto the back foot, and Southey knows what to do with that. That's into the square leg boundary.
First one, Matt Parkinson's dropped short. It's the first one he hasn't tried to give a bit of flight. First one he's not tried to beat the batters in the flight and get it up above their eye line. And as Ishodi showed, you can't drop short on this ground as a spin bowler.
That's a better ball. That's Fuller. It's on the leg stumps, and he swept it down to deep backward square, and Lewis Gregory collects, and they've run 2.
Jay Grover text. Steve and Jason look like 2 long-term lovers who've just retired from academia at a provincial university and can now open the restaurant they've always dreamed of. It will fail.
Well, I'll eat all the profits. That's why it'll fail. Parkinson. It's a bit too short.
Too caught.
Oh! And fielder is rushing in to try and take that, and he's yorked himself.
Fair play to him going for the catch, though. It's exactly the right thing. Pat Brown again. You're absolutely correct, by the way, Jason. Ravi Bopara took 4 for 10 in 3.4 overs against the West Indies in September 2011. Oh, yeah, lovely.
That's a jaffer of a ball from Parkinson. A little bit of turn there, and Southey set up for another smear sweep pull into the leg side, and it's just zipped over the top of the flashing blade, and there's a dot ball.
5 for still on.
Might be now.
That must be close.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think so.
He'll review this, I think.
Southey's gone for exactly the same shot again. That ball is slightly fuller, slightly slower, and it snuck under the bat and hit him on the pad. Chris Gaffney's taken a little while to think about that one.
I think if there's no inside edge, I think he's pretty gone.
But eventually the fingers come up.
I was definitely in. Were you definitely in? I don't know.
It's pitched on about middle stump. I don't think he's hit it.
plumb.
Maybe there's a question of whether this is turning too much and shaving the outside of off stump, but even that doesn't matter because he's been given out. Parkinson again, much more overspin than side spin. The seam is almost vertical. He's going for loop. He's going for dip. He's going to trying to beat the batters in the flight, making sure that it pitches that little bit shorter than the batters are intending. It's how he's got his 3 wickets so far, and it might be how he's got his 4th.
There's no sound on Snicko, so we're just looking at the...
That's out.
Yeah, plumb. Taking out middle stump.
Yeah. Yep. A Watsonian review from Tim Southey. A bit of fun from the New Zealand captain, but it is over, and Matt Parkinson has his 4th. Wrong one. Trying to deny Matt Parkinson his 2nd set of 2-in-2 balls, and his fifer is this man.
So can Ishodi ruin Matt Parkinson's day? I don't think so. Whether or not he gets a wicket is another matter, and that's... Moving on to leg stump, Sodi tickles it down to fine leg. The man there collects it, rushes the ball back in, and Billings breaks the bails. The question is...
I think they reviewed this.
Yes, because I think he came off the pad. I don't think he hit it because Billings appealed, didn't he? So
I think that was quite a pre-orchestrated appeal from Sam Billings. I think appeal. Let's see if the guy can get his 5.
Appeal. Let's not give it a wide.
I think this is. Oh well, it wasn't a wide in any case. I think it's sliding down leg.
I'd be surprised if this is out. I must admit.
May even have pitched outside leg
as well. Yeah.
Well, there's every indication from the movement of Billings and the angle of delivery that this is going to miss leg stump.
It's missed the bat anyway, we know that.
Yes, beaten in the flight, beaten by both dip and drift. It's been a lovely exhibition of slow leg spin bowling from Matt Parkinson. You can see it's beatenish Sodi on the inside edge. Not a huge turner of the ball, Matt Parkinson, although to be fair, he's not really been trying to turn the ball sideways in this spell. Pitched outside leg and going on probably to miss leg. Something to lose the review, but in absolutely fair enough circumstances. But wonderful stuff from Matt Parkinson.
And that is New Zealand 139 for 7 at the end of 13 overs.
4 for 47 in his 4 overs from Matt Parkinson, and a number of those runs were off fielding errors that weren't his fault. England go back to the man who started the innings.
Boy Wonder delivers a ball on leg stump, which is worked out to deep mid wicket, all along the ground for an easy single.
Sam Curran hadn't played a T20 international before this series. I think he's done himself some favours.
Yeah, he's quite good, isn't he? Back to tweets. Mog suggesting New Zealand might get this with extras, and Paul Tudor continuing his theme on rubbish fielding.
So
this game should have been over by now.
It's getting close to 17 and over.
Paul Tudor saying, I love how England want to make a game of this by crap fielding. We are generous of spirit.
Curran bustles in. That's wide of the stumps. Gives Santner an opportunity to push the, throw his hands at the ball out to the boundary, and he scamper 2.
Ravi Nair says, thanks for the mistaken mention, but I'm no Ravi Bopara. My best figures, brackets, underarm, tennis ball, leg spin, close brackets, were a mere 3 for 18 in 2 overs at lunchtime.
Fun.
All 3 were caught at long off. Happy memories, Ravi.
Good captaincy. Put your best fielder where you know it's going to go. Curran bowls, and that's full outside off stump. And Santner can do not much more than knock it into the leg side and jog a single.
It's all dying a bit of a death.
Yes, it's all petering out somewhat.
Yeah, Santner's trying gamely to hit it over the boundary, but he's just not connecting with anything because either the ball has been rolled too well.
Santner's not really a power hitter. He's a good man to have when it gets tight in a one-day international chase, because he can put back to ball. He's a quick runner. He finds gaps, but he's not a power hitter by any means. Short fine leg has come up. Everyone else on the leg side is back. So I think short fine leg, short third man, extra cover and mid off, I think.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And that's a good ball from
Mr. Curran.
Curran. That's a full on off stump.
Ball.
All he can do is squirt that down to that short third man, and Jordan collects that cleanly. There's no chance of a run there.
I'd like to know what the stats are, but there have not been very many dot balls in this match in either innings, have there?
No, England played out a few early on. Darwin Milan was only, I think, 8 off his first 10 balls.
Oof.
It's pitched outside leg.
Outside leg, no chance.
Huge hands aloft by Curran, but that's angling into, probably hit the leg stump, but would have pitched outside leg. And they've scampered the leg by. Sodhi gets off strike.
Jay Grover with a little suggestion. Hendo is always looking for BNOS money-making schemes. Nakul M. Pandi Tai Chi videos would be fucking mint.
Batting Tai Chi. It is sort of a sunrise exercises at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Greet the day.
He's just into his cricket.
Certainly, I was accused of taking cricket not seriously enough the other day, which is probably the first time anyone's ever accused me of that.
They don't know you.
Oh, that was sharp.
That's out as well.
That's a good, well-directed bouncer by Curran. That's completely surprised Santner.
Yep.
He's seen it late. He's got on the ball late, and it's flown through to the keeper.
Loved it. Morgs with a very paternal rub of the hair of young Sam Curran.
Well, he's that, when he does bowl, he does have a deceptively quick and skiddy, more importantly, bouncer, which is on people far quicker than they realise.
Sander was miles behind that, wasn't he? Just glancing away off his gloves.
Anyone else with us? Or they all
no, they've
all
gone quiet at the moment. I think they're about as gripped by the slowness of the death of this game as we are. So.
Well, we have Southey's partner in crime is now coming to the crease.
And a man even more committed to the leg side hoik.
How does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout? How does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
Another whizzy jingle, I love that.
And it's England go back to what they started with, double Curran.
The most effectual Tomcat, whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC.
Good shot.
Big Curran comes in, bowls a length ball,
That's out.
and that's absolutely murdered out of the ground through the square leg.
Is slowly taking out some of his frustrations after being mullered around McLean Park. Absolutely launched Tom Curran. Length delivery over the roof.
Bring the bag of balls out.
One wonders, do they actually get them back? Or do they just...
Well, I think that's in someone's back garden in out there in Napier. Some some young Napierite has a little souvenir.
I mean, these aren't, to be fair, the most elevated stands we've ever
they're not
seen.
huge,
They're quite low rake.
No, but even so, that was a massive hit from Ish Sodhi. Really climbed into that link delivery from Tom Curran, whose face. The thing about Tom Curran is you could never tell the state of the game from his face. He's completely unmoved.
It's been an
very
awful
plastic,
poker player
isn't
to
it?
play against, isn't he?
Curran bustling in, and that's the back of the hand slow ball or knuckleball, and that's bunted up to long on. Sorry.
I think you're right, back of the hand that one, wasn't it? Really looped at the batsman.
Yeah, he bowls that with lovely disguise. There's no change in his action whatsoever. Now for Bolt, they've got everyone up on the offside and everyone back on the leg side. Admirable commitment to agriculture, Trent Bolt.
They got the cows out yet?
Should do. 5 men at cow corner for Trent Bolt. Feet, head and bat all pointing in different directions.
His palms pumping. And that's
good ball.
Very good Yorker. There's nothing really that Bolt can do there apart from just hit it back to the bowler. Right off the toe of the bat.
Got that reverberated through his arms a bit. No.
Fortunately enough, I don't hit them often enough for it to hurt. But again, if I have to bat, then we are in trouble anyway. Curran, his latest delivery. Another slower ball. That's on a length outside off stump. Bolter's backed away and baseball bats that down to it's a line drive to long on.
Certainly approaching it in an agricultural style, isn't he, Mr.
Oh, he's fun. He's fun to watch, Trent Bolt. He knows how he bats.
Scything the bat through the air. Right, Mr. Soda, let's see if you can hit.
And we should be having a change fairly shortly at the end of this over.
Trent Bolt actually said just before this game, I really hope I don't get to bat. It's not good news for New Zealand if I do. Well, he wasn't wrong.
Batting now. Another one of those back of the hand balls from Curran. It's hit into the offside all along the floor to Johnny B, who's grazing at the cover boundary.
No doubt making friends with the people in that stand.
Signing away like crazy.
He's very popular among the...
he's the mic'd up one today as well, isn't he?
He was mic'd up a little bit earlier, yeah.
The room goes dark as the bear walks in.
So, final ball of the over from Curran. T. Curran. It's another excellent Yorker. Bolt backs away as he wants. Can't do nothing apart from get an inside edge on that down to short fine leg, and that completes the over. And once Knackle has finished doing some admin, we will have a little swap around, and that's the end of me for the day.
Yeah, it's good. Are you coming into? Am I coming to ball by ball? Are you coming to? Steve's coming to ball by ball, and the Bears are going to go on to tweets. Yeah, good stuff from Tom Curran in that over. 1, 2, 3. Still 10 runs off the over, but good skills from Tom Curran, making sure that he gets his Yorker practice in early, because that's pretty much what this game has descended to. And New Zealand needing 88 with 2 wickets left off the last 5 overs. I mean, they're not
17 and over.
I mean, they're not that far. They're not very far off where England were at this stage, but obviously many more wickets behind.
That must have hurt. So it's Curran into bowl the 16th over, and
it was hit up to mid-off.
Bolt smashed the full toss straight to Jordan at mid-off, who threw down the stumps, and Sodhi's on strike. Bolt's on strike, and Sodhi's gone brilliant from Jordan. He is a fantastic fielder. Got the throw away really quickly. Sodhi wanted the single. Bolt sent him back, and in the end, Sodhi's run out by
about 6 inches.
By a fair old margin.
There must be a run out here. Oh, how tragic. How tragic, how tragic, how tragic.
So Ish Sodhi departs, having scored 9 off 7, 12 minutes at the crease. Smoked 1 very, very fine 6 that cleared the ground. And we're just watching a replay, yes. No, in fact, he was sent back by Bolt. and couldn't remake his ground, and Jordan had knocked the stumps down.
Yeah, there's a few people in the world whose arms you don't take on. Glenn Maxwell's certainly one of them, and Chris Jordan's definitely in that category. Brilliant fielder.
And not from about 5 yards.
Well, quite, yes.
So New Zealand now reduced to 154 for 9. Last man to the ground is Tickner. Do like that jingle. Right, so Curran in to Bolt again. An agricultural sweep from Bolt down to a very deep mid-on. And the ball's back in, and they've jogged through for a signal. Score moves on to 155 for 9.
Trent Bolt's feet were facing towards mid-off and mid-on. His chest was facing straight down the wicket, and the bat ended up pointing towards square leg.
GX G Lee is asking how many to win.
A lot. Too many.
83 is the answer. Make that 82. Tickner has just nudged that into the leg side. Jordan has galloped round to pick it up.
We have some tweets. Jonathan Shawn says the weather forecast for the T20 in Auckland on Sunday is not looking positive.
No.
But Auckland is on a thin strip of land surrounded by sea, so weather forecasting is difficult and often wrong. There will probably be some moisture, but there's still maybe a match.
This could be the end of the game because
oh dear,
it's come down, bounced in between 3 England fielders who couldn't make up the ground. So Bolt has moved his score on to a very rapid 4 off 6. New Zealand 157 for 9. Yes, that went a long way. Became that. So, how do you describe where his feet were and his chest is? It was exactly the same on that.
Pretty much, yeah. Except that time the bat ended up pointing towards sort of third man, and it landed in between point, cover, and deep point.
You could say well placed, I suppose, couldn't you?
So, expertly placed off the top edge.
So Tickner facing up to Sam Curran as he comes in past the umpire. A full ball just down leg side, nudged into the leg side. The Kiwis are taking 2 runs, and they've taken on the arm. Oh, well, if that had hit, that would have been out as well. But, they're safely through. The stumps were not disturbed. Score has galloped onto 159 for 9. So who do you think is going to bowl the next over then? Keep it with the Curran boys?
Jordan will probably get a go, won't he?
May give it to Lewis Gregory just for a bit of practice. If they're being ruthless, they'll go with Jordan.
Yeah. Curran in. Again, another full bunger on the pads. Flicked out into the leg side by Tickner. They just jogged through for the single. End of the over. New Zealand 160 for 9, still requiring 82 to win. Bear.
Jay Grover says, I am but one man. There's only so much bobbins I can type whilst multitasking. An armchair cricket podcast says, only an academic interest remaining whether New Zealand can avoid a defeat by under 50 runs. Those 2 in 2s from Parkinson really killed off the game. On this evidence, can England play both him and Rashid? Well, depending on the wicket, I'd have said yes.
I think if Rashid's fully fit, yes, I would like to try and find a way to play both. Absolutely. I think England have got a lot of seamers that they can rotate between. Obviously, there's a lot of changes that will be made to this team. With your Butler and Roy are missing out of this game. Joe Root, Ben Stokes. I'm not necessarily sure I'd have Ben Stokes in a full-strength T20 team.
Not to mention Jofra.
Well, indeed.
All right. So it is Jordan into the attack for the 17th over. Fairly full delivery, slower ball, completely full. Tickner swiped, missed it, went through to Billings. Nothing happened.
Jordan's second over was brilliant. Took mostly slower balls, 5 off it only, and the wicket, but quite a lot has happened in between.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem.
Oh, how's that missed?
So the second ball is almost a complete repeat of the first ball, and as Napier rightly said, not quite sure how that missed off stump, but it did, and went through to Billings. So again, no run.
Well, Mubashir Hussain has just joined us and says hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's near the end. It's virtually the end.
Yeah, sorry if you timed your wake up or or you're viewing, hoping for a barnstorming finish, this ain't it.
No, this is not the one. Jordan in, full ball, right on the stumps, heaved away into the offside. Jordan has whipped the bails off. I don't think there's a chance of a run out there. So one more to the total. The edge nearer the required.
If this was a sort of group game in a World Cup, you're basically playing for net run rate damage limitation.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to a decider in the fifth match in Auckland,
which is quite entertaining, and it's exactly.
Hope that the weather doesn't ruin it.
Well, that would be typical, wouldn't it?
Another short ball completely foxes Trent Boult, top edges it over Billings' head. It goes to the boundary immediately behind the stumps for 4 runs. Yes, Trent Boult was cooked in all manners there, wasn't he?
He was lucky.
That
he wanted to miss one and the stumps to go bing and get out.
Well bowled, Mr. Jordan, anyway.
On that occasion, his feet were pointing straight down the ground, his bat went over square leg, and the ball went 180 degrees to where his feet were pointing.
Retaining the agricultural style that he has. Jordan in, full on,
Yay!
and that has demolished the stumps straight into middle stump. New Zealand all out for 165 by my maths. England have won by 76, something like that.
Yep.
I mean, credit, I guess, to New Zealand for keeping on going for it. You do see teams sometimes sort of go into their shell and play out a rather pointless crawl to the finish, but New Zealand kept on slogging throughout. It's the only way they were going to win, even if the percentages of them doing so were not high. Yes, England crushed New Zealand by 77 runs in the fourth T20 international at Napier, set up by that brilliant partnership of 182 between David Milan and Owen Morgan. So New Zealand didn't even actually fall short of that by 17 runs. Just too many from England. 241 for 3. It was a good start given to them by Guptill and Monroe, but once Matt Parkinson got into his work dismissing Colin de Grandhomme and Colin Monroe in consecutive deliveries, it was a massive uphill battle for New Zealand. Parkinson was superb, executed his plan perfectly. He had the idea of tossing it up, not going for side spin, but going for overspin, getting the ball above the batter's eye line, bowling very slow, getting dip, getting loop, making sure that the ball was never quite there for the drive, never quite there for the big hit. With this big total, with these big straight boundaries, he was excellent, and real commitment and I guess reward for his courage and doing what he's done in the blast over these years, doing exactly what has got him into this team. 4 for 47 he took. Chris Jordan was excellent again with 2 for 24, a wicket apiece for the Curran boys and 1 for Pat Brown. The only real bit of resistance at the end came from Tim Southey with 39 off 15, but it was too late really by then, and despite a little bit of a wobble in the field from England, a pretty convincing all-round performance.
There was a bit in the middle where they seemed to take their foot off the gas, wasn't it? It was obviously they were going to win, and they just weren't concentrating. It was a drop by Pat Brown at that point, which would have given him Parkinson a 5-fer, but not to be. And you have to say England was a good all-round performance, I suppose.
A thorough thrashing of the New Zealanders. So
indeed.
So we move on to Auckland for the decider.
Yeah, we'll be
Series
back.
Levelled at 2-2.
Yes, indeed, and we'll be back for that on Sunday morning UK time, 12:50 a.m. UK time, 1:50 p.m. New Zealand time. Adjust for your particular time zone, and a decider we hope is not ruined by the weather. But until then, it's goodbye from Nigel the Bear Walker.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Steve Jones.
Goodbye all.
Goodbye from Jason G. Hiscox. He shouts goodbye from the green room, and goodbye from me, Knuckle M. Pandey. See you again.